A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
The National Broadcasting Company presents The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective.
Sam Spade Detective Agency.
Me, sweetheart. Merry 29th of December.
You too, Sam. Did you take the little boy home?
Yep.
Straight home?
Well, not exactly, F. Had to make a couple of emergency stops, but we got there.
What do you mean, Sam?
Well, I got my weekly knot on the head, for one thing.
Sam, just taking the little boy home?
Like I said, F, we were derailed. There was a dash of poison, for instance. A couple of pounds of $1,000 notes. And an infernal machine that nearly blew up half the Mission District. But other than that, we had a peaceful ride home.
Why, Sam, this sounds like a caper.
Which is just what it is, Angel. Get out our special holiday bottle of Napa Valley wine, and we'll get in our premature regards to the new year, following dictation of a report entitled The Prodigal...
Prodigal, Sam? Are you sure that's the right word?
Certainly, I'm sure. The Wanderer will return to the roost. You and your big fat roost. For the last bedtime story for 1950, namely, The Prodigal Panda Caper. For NBC, William Spear, radio's outstanding producer-director of mystery and crime drama, brings you the greatest private detective of them all in The Adventures of Sam Spade. Effie! Miss Perrine!
Coming, Sam, coming. I've been looking in the dictionary.
Huh?
Sam, you've fallen into the trap.
Again?
Prodigal. Here, now, see? Prodigal. Given to reckless extravagance. It doesn't mean wandering at all, see? Now, people think just because the prodigal son wandered that you...
What are we talking about?
Oh, the prodigal panda caper. How can a panda be given to reckless extravagance?
Well, let me see. Oh, here. Definition 3, prodigal. Yielding abundantly, luxuriant.
A panda? You mean one of those black and white?
Oh, right. See note below, it says. You ready for the note below?
Where's my pencil? Oh, all right, Sam, now, say, fill in the two.
Master Roebuck Dozier, 2318 Delaney Street, City. From Samuel Spade, license number 137596. Subject, the prodigal
panda caper.
Right. Dear Roby, I'd spent a relatively pleasant day running down a case of slow pay in North Beach and, flushed with success, had returned to my office for a final check of the file. Underwood Helen, Usher Roderick, Barton Dolly, where the... Oh, Spirits Holiday. I sat down, put my hat and my feet on the desk, and was loosening my collar when I noticed just to the right of my off ankle one large bag of jelly beans. Sighting past it, I saw in the corner chair an open copy of a magazine featuring on the cover a blonde in a low-cut dress taking a .38 slug from a slack-jawed bug in the background under big red letters spelling out Thrilling Crime Comics. And behind all this, sound asleep, was you. Hey, Sonny. Hey, wake up, will you? Come on, Redley's blowing.
Huh? Oh.
Hi. How long you been here?
Oh, a long time, I guess.
What's your name?
Roby, short for Roebuck.
Well, what can I do for you, Roby?
I've been to the police. They wouldn't do anything. They said I should come to you.
You mean you got a job for me?
Yeah.
Dangerous?
Yeah. A hoist.
You mean a heist? What was it?
My panda bear.
Oh, someone stole it?
Yeah. It's not mine, really. I bought it for my little brother, Barney.
Mm-hmm.
He's 5 and he's always wanted one. So when I got the junk money, I went...
money?
Oh, bottles and papers and stuff.
Oh.
I collected it from the neighbors and earned $6.15. And Barney wanted the panda bear, so I bought it at Lacey's department store today, and they stole it.
Who stole it?
Well, there was this man in the checkered coat and the lady in the red silk dress, just like the story in the comics here.
Oh.
The man looked like that, but the lady looked different.
Mm-hmm.
She had black hair and a red dress, and her eyebrows went up this way instead of sideways.
Oh.
I was walking down the street with my panda bear, and the lady called me over to a car she was sitting in and started to talk to me. And right away, the man in the checkered coat ran up and grabbed at my panda bear.
and they chased me up a fire escape. And the man pulled out a big black gun and said if I didn't come down and give him the Panda, he'd shoot me and Barney and Mom. So I came down and gave him the Panda.
Well, that's quite a mouthful. Oh, excuse me, Roby. Hello?
Sam?
Yeah, Dundee.
This is Dundee.
Oh.
Sam, there's a little fella about 8 years old on his way over there.
No, he's here now, Lieutenant. What's the deal?
Yeah, he gave us quite a story.
Well, how'd it go?
Well, we took it down. I got it right here
Good.
somewhere. Let me see. It's about a man in a checkered coat and a lady in a red silk dress.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. Quote, I was walking down the street with my Panda bear, and the lady called me over to her car.
Okay, Dundee. He hasn't changed it any.
Yeah, we got hold of his mother. Runs an elevator in the Russ building.
Good.
She says he reads too many comic books. You better send him home.
Okay, Lieutenant, thanks. Come on, Roby.
You're going to send me home?
Lieutenant Dundee called your mother, old man, and
You don't believe me either.
Oh, it's not that, Roby. It's just
But I can't go home without the Panda bear. What do I tell Barney? I promised him. My own brother.
Oh, he's home now waiting?
Yeah.
Well, tell you what I'll do, Roby. You let me put you in a taxi and send you home, and I'll take the case.
You'll get my Panda back?
It wouldn't be at all surprised. So if Barney's face hits the floor, just tell him Samuel Spade Incorporated's working on it.
Only one thing.
Huh?
I haven't any money left.
Oh, you got jelly beans, haven't you?
Yeah?
Okay, you can pay me off in jelly beans. Now, come on now, let's find a taxi. Which we did, Roby. Like the psychology books said, I didn't discourage the child imagination, but I did try to tout you off thrilling crime comics and onto Alice in Wonderland. This, I could see, would take some doing. It was almost closing time when I got to Lacey's, but I talked my way past the man at the door and hustled up to the 6th floor and the toy department. The clerks were doing whatever clerks do at 5:30, but I found a handy floor walker.
Dear me, Mr. Spade, I just don't know. I just don't know.
You mean you counted your cash and everything, but you can't...
It's not that, Mr. Spade.
Oh.
I am perfectly willing to stretch a point to please the little fellow. We like to think we're human here, you know.
Well, that's nice. That you like to think so, I mean.
But you see, something very strange happened this afternoon. Come over this way, sir, by the escalator.
Oh.
We had the giant pandas at this counter here. 25 of the large size. I assume that's what you're interested in.
I guess so. Then what then?
Well, for Christmas, they didn't do anything.
Just sat here, huh?
Yes. But would you believe it, sir? This afternoon, all 25 were sold.
Well, how do you account for that? New Year's gaiety?
Well, if you want my personal opinion, it's...
An impressive panda bear, Roby. It was hard to figure out how you could lose anything that big, and harder still to figure out how I'd explain this kind of thing to people who stopped me on Market Street. Be that as it may, my floor walker friend took my cash, tore off the sales slip, and I was about to set sail with my Panda when I heard him make the kind of a noise floor workers make when they see what he was looking at.
Miss Greenbar! Miss Greenbar!
He pointed weakly, turned pale even by floor walker standards, and sagged to the deck. I turned in time to see Miss Greenbrier collapse at the top of the escalator and watched her come down, draped across 3 steps like the cover of one of your books of bedtime stories, Roby. She was the last passenger of the day, or so I thought. When I looked closer, I saw she wasn't a passenger. She was freight. At the lamp counter on the floor above, busily adding up receipts as if nothing had happened, was a dark type built along Dragon Lady lines.
I'm very sorry, sir, but we closed.
I want to know about the girl who just went down the escalator.
Miss Greenbrier?
Yeah, notice anything strange about her?
Why, is she ill?
Yeah. Did she look ill?
I thought there must have been something wrong. I said hello to her, and she didn't pay any attention to me. It was only a second ago.
Where'd she come from?
Around the corner. I think she'd been at the wrapping desk.
She had. It was a 10-size sheet of heavy brown paper, a batch of metered postage tape, and a shipping label addressed to Master Frankie Carson, 281 Avenida Ruiz, Havana, Cuba. Downstairs, I found my floor walker friend had come around and was bending over Miss Greenbrier with an impressive-looking gent with gray at the temples.
Good heavens, it can't be. It just cannot be. That's all.
I'm afraid she is, though.
In Lacey's, it's unheard of. Why should she be... Good heavens, in my department, too.
Excuse me, floor walker.
Oh, this is Mr. Spade. He was with me when it... Oh, dear.
I'm Dr. Kent Thorne. I was exchanging some Christmas gifts when...
Any idea what killed her?
Well, it's pretty hard to tell without an examination, and I don't have my things with me. Heart, possibly.
Natural causes?
Well, of course. Why, do you have reason?
There are more natural places to die than at the top of an escalator.
And in my department at Lacey's, too. Good heaven.
Well, who can say? Have to look up the girl's history. If she had a heart condition, well...
Sure. Meanwhile, I'll call homicide. They've nothing better to do. For a minute, I thought I'd been reading too many comic books, Roby, but things settled down when they pulled out the records and found Miss Greenbrier had a heart condition of long standing, and the medical examiner wrote it off as natural causes. So, hoping you would consider a jelly bean bonus for promptness, I picked up my Panda and went. Outside, I'd gone about 10 steps when...
Hi, Humphrey.
It was Larry Healy, the cop who drives for Lieutenant Dundee, sitting in a patrol car.
Oh, you and Bogart. And who's it for?
A little kid in the mission.
How come?
What do you mean, how come? I'm buying a panda bear for a little kid in the mission who likes panda bears. Does that have to be explained?
Okay, Sam, okay. Hey, it just hit me. The bear ain't turned out quite right. He needs a necktie.
Oh?
I just happen to have one here my brother-in-law got me for Christmas. Here, gimme. Now, see. Go ahead.
Ooh. Larry, how long has there been bad blood between you and your brother-in-law?
Bad blood. Listen, even when we were friends, he gave me ties like this. There you are. On your way, Sam.
Thanks.
Taxi!
The cab let me out near the end of Delaney, and I started walking up the row of dingy pre-earthquake flats toward your house, Roby, at the end of the street. Parked at the curb was a discordant note in this hard-pressed neighborhood, a sleek, custom-built red convertible, one of the kind that looks like it can go 90 miles an hour standing still. The same can be said for the dame in it, also a discordant note. You see, San Francisco is a very big, large city. You just don't run into a dame at the lamp counter in Lacey's and a half hour later in a dumpy neighborhood in the Mission unless she wants it that way.
Well, hello.
Hello, Dragon Lady.
Oh, silly.
You must sell a pass on the lamps.
The car?
Mm-hmm. But don't try and explain that now. Just tell me why you followed my cab.
Follow you? Why, Mr. Spade.
Come on. What is it?
You're embarrassing me.
I know. Since that moment at the lamp counter, you can't get me out of your mind. Well, that's a perfectly normal reaction.
No, it's not that. It's... Oh, dear.
The panda bear. You want it in the worst way.
You're kind of attractive as men go, Mr. Spade. Could you give me a light, please?
Sure. Holding the match up to her cigarette, three things hit me. The black hair, the red dress, and eyebrows that went up instead of sideways. At that point, the sleeve of a checkered overcoat with a big arm inside it came around under my chin from the rear, and the fourth thing hit me. How long I dwelled in Panda Land, I don't know, but it was real nice while it lasted. I was a panda, too, I remember, and I was going somewhere with a big overstuffed private detective under my arm when a lady panda batted her big brown eyes at me and began pulling my nose. She seemed to have a very, very high voice.
Wake up, Mr. Spade. Riddle is blowing. I call Lieutenant Dundee, Mr. Spade. Summer's wait. Looky. Over here.
Good Christopher, Sam. What happened?
Well, it was this way, Dundee. I was walking down the street with my panda bear, and the lady called me over to the car she was sitting in and started to talk to me. And right away, the man in the checkered coat up.
You are listening to the weekly adventure of radio's most famous detective, Sam Spade. Van Heflin stars this Sunday in State Fair, another outstanding 60-minute production by Theater Guild on the air. Co-starring in this exciting broadcast is one of the leading families in show business, Gene Lockhart, Kathleen Lockhart, and daughter June. It's a gala New Year's Eve broadcast when Theater Guild presents State Fair. Sunday over most of these NBC stations also means another hour and a half with Tallulah Bankhead in radio's greatest spectacle, The Big Show. Among Tallulah's guests will be Ken Murray, Gloria Swanson, Margaret O'Brien, Jose Ferrer, and many more. Now back to the Prodigal Panda Caper, tonight's adventure with Sam Spade.
It was a humiliating experience, Roby, riding back to headquarters in black defeat. But dear, good Lieutenant Dundee, however, was the soul of patience and understanding.
What do you take me for, Spade, an idiot?
Look, Dundee, all I want you to understand is that this dame in the hopped-up convertible...
I've had 3 rides on that merry-go-round now, and I'm sick of it. The dame in a red dress and the guy in the checkered coat. They take your wallet?
No.
Your watch? Other valuables?
No. Just my Panda.
Sam, are you trying to tell me there's a hot Panda racket going on?
Dundee, boy. Look closely now as I take off my hat.
What?
There. See? Now, as you know, my head ordinarily does not come to a point. But this protuberance was made by a gun butt, not by imagination.
Oh, someone slugged you. I believe that, Sam, but this Panda bear thing... Dundee. Yeah. What? Yeah. Yeah.
You were saying something about my Panda bear, Dundee.
Yeah, maybe I ought to take it back. That dame at the store this afternoon, the one who sold him?
Miss Greenbrier.
Yeah. I just finished the post-mortem. No heart attack. She was poisoned.
It's a strange thing, Mr. Spade, very strange. I leave my business thoughts at the store.
Floor Walker, just try and remember the Dragon Lady's name, huh?
Dragon Lady. My good gracious, I can't remember my own name. I'm so upset.
Oh, now concentrate. Now, look, dark hair, up-tilted eyebrows, red silk dress. Works in lamp department on 7th floor.
I can picture her so plainly.
Dark hair, Floor Walker.
Dark hair.
Upshot eyebrows.
Eyebrows of the red dress.
Yes.
Red. Scarlet.
Scarlet.
Scarlet, that's it.
Easy now. I got a list of employees right here. I'll tell you. Scarlet Townsend.
Scarlet Townsend, that's the dame.
Floor Walker. Scarlet Townsend.
Yeah, she lives here, right in this room.
Move out.
Today.
Well, how come?
Oh,
I said, how come, landlady? Why'd she move?
me.
Oh.
I tried to keep her on the right track, but at her age, you can't tell her nothing. So when she bring that no good thing around here, I put my foot down. I said, Scarlet, Scarlet, you're out.
No good dame? What's no good dame, landlady?
Crystal McCall.
Oh.
Here, I found this just now as I was cleaning the room. Picture of Crystal McCall. Now, ain't that a swell way to have your picture taken?
The name rang a bell, and so did the picture. Crystal herself and me all together. When I got around to the place, I made a startling discovery. Crystal was also the late Miss Greenbrier.
Don't look at it all day, young man.
When'd you see this girl last, landlady?
This morning, she and a fella in a checkered coat come around to pick up Scarlet in a big red open car.
Know the fella?
Nope, never saw him before. But I sure know that car. Oh, you ought to see it.
You're not telling me a thing, landlady. I have. In Los Angeles, I'd have been dead, but San Francisco is not a convertible town. I found a free phone and began calling the dealers, figuring a bright red custom-built convertible is something you remember, whether you see it or sell it. An hour of this got me nowhere, and I'd begun to wonder if the car had been smuggled up from the unmentionable side of the Tehachapi when the wind changed.
Sold the yeller one a while back.
Thanks, but near misses don't count, friend.
But the buyer had it painted red. Special job.
Well, you're improving. Who's the buyer?
Kim Thorne.
Dr. Kim Thorne?
Right, Dr. Jules Kim Thorne. Lives on Motley Drive in Burlingame. That's the only red one I know.
Great. That's the only red one I need.
Mr. Spade, this is utterly unbelievable. And I certainly don't intend to stand here all night discussing the pros and cons of Panda Bear.
All right, Kim Thorne, let's slide over into your field.
Meaning what?
The sweet young thing at the store. It turned out dirty.
The heart attack?
The poison attack.
Well, suicide, you suppose?
What do you suppose?
Well, I'm sure I don't know.
Look, why don't we hold hands and tell the truth, huh?
You'd better run along, Spade. I've had about all of this that I intended.
Look, the dead dame was Crystal McCall. Does that mean anything to you?
No.
The same Crystal McCall was running around with a hood named Frankie Casella, formerly of New York, now of Havana, by Department of Justice request.
This is all very interesting. What has it to do with me?
She was riding around in your red convertible this morning, for one thing. That's a hot car, you know. I took a close look at it 2 hours ago and got slugged. I don't know how you score these things, Kempthorne, but in my book, this calls for a couple of answers.
You're right. You're right, it does.
Where's the car?
It's gone.
Who has it?
My chauffeur. This is the last straw, I guess. There's no point in covering up for him any longer.
Who is it?
Lenny Flegel.
Oh, an ex-con, isn't he?
Yes. I thought I could straighten him out. He's been missing for 2 days this time. He just took the car and left. I knew he had something to do with that girl in the toy department at Lacey's, so I went there today. I guess I was too late.
You think Flegel killed her?
I don't know. I don't know. Where did you see the car?
Near the end of Delaney Street. What's the license number?
49H822.
Oh.
I'd better report it stolen. If you need me to testify, please...
Feel free to call. That I will, Dr. Kempthorne. Bye. What I had in mind, of course, was to call Lieutenant Dundee and have him slap a 24-hour tail on the good doctor, but something intervened. Halfway down the walk to the street, my eye fell on a round plastic object about the size of a nickel lying in the grass. Clearly, the eye of a giant panda. Since 2 other eyes were obviously watching me through Dr. Kempthorne's front curtains, I continued gaily on to my cab, drove up a half block, got out, and walked back. Just in time to see Kempthorne pull away from the curb in his other car, heading towards El Camino and points north. Well, this left me free to prowl at will, and 4 matchbooks later, I had found 2 more eyes, a pocket full of panda skin, and a goodly scoop of panda upholstery. The trail led to the garage. It was no wonder his car was stolen. He must have had to leave it on the street all night because there was no room for it in the garage, which had been turned into a kind of panda abattoir, crammed to the rafters with panda bears, all the giant size, too, in various stages of dishabille. Legs, arms, eyes, and innards. A sight to chill the heart of any but the sturdiest private detective, Ruby. But I braced myself and carried on.
Homicide, Dundee.
This is Sam, Dundee.
Sam, where are you calling from?
Phone booth in a drive-in on El Camino. Listen, the license number on the red custom job is 49H822. And the guy driving it is Lenny Flegel, an ex-con.
Don't talk to me about that car. Larry Healy picked it up tonight going 90 on the Bay Shore.
Great.
Lousy.
Why? What happened?
Next time I see one of them panda bears, I'm going to spit right in its eye. So Larry pulls the guy down, and first thing he sees is the panda bear with a necktie.
What about the dragon lady?
She came second. All Larry can think of is the hot panda bear. Figures they stole it, so he takes it back to the patrol car to return it to the kid.
No.
Yeah. By the time he got the exhaust smoke out of his eyes, they were gone. Oh, what's that license number again?
49H822.
You sure?
Positive. I'm looking right at it. Oh, Sam. Dundee.
Yeah.
We're all at Anderson's drive-in on El Camino. Put it on the air. Which just shows you how slow I can think, Roby. The red job was staring at me with its big chrome eyes outside the plate glass window. Flegel and the dragon lady, bless them, were having a Saturday night blue plate displayed attractively on the tray racks hung from the car doors. I sidled out of the phone booth and through the kitchen, thereby coming up on the car from behind.
More coffee, honey?
No, we better get going.
Oh, plenty of time.
Mind if I join you, Flegel? Huh? He reached and I pushed, and instead of his gun, he came up with half a hamburger. It was too harsh a life for the dragon lady to operate effectively, and by the time Larry Healy and the prowl car pulled up, they decided to do it the easy way.
You all comfy back there?
Lovely, Larry. Flegel? Dragon lady?
Shut up.
What about the red job? What are you going to do with it?
Larry?
Oh, and count it till the lawyers are through talking. Sam, you want to go by way of Delaney Street?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why Delaney Street?
Larry delivered the panda.
Huh?
Sure, to the kid, Roby Dozier. We'll have to go and pick it up.
Lenny.
Yeah.
What's it worth, Leo? 50,000? 100?
The little kid's got it?
Yeah. Oh, Carcel will be disappointed, Prodigal. With the tax boys watching both him and Crystal, it looked like a safe way to get some of his dough out of the country club.
It wasn't my idea. I hated him. I did 8 years for him, Spade. I could have killed him.
Shut up, Lenny.
I don't care anymore. The heck with it. Look, it wasn't me. The guy who's running things for him here is Dr. Kempthorne, but Crystal had the dough. He killed her. He took her lunch today and
Lenny!
Go ahead, Lenny. So he poisoned her. Then what?
she fixed up one of the pandas. He didn't know which. Stuffed it with bills, 80, 100,000, I don't know. Anyway, you'll find the money in the red car under the back seat.
Under the seat? What are you talking about? It's in the Panda. The kid's got it.
Look, why do you think I'm telling you this, you stupid flatfoot? I fixed that thing for Carcel myself after we took the dough out. What, kid? It's got a bomb in it.
I don't remember much about the ride from then on, Ruby. All I could see was a white line unwinding in the headlights. But somehow we got to the end of Delaney Street and around that corner again. Ruby! Ruby!
Over here, in the alley.
Ruby, you hurt?
No, just resting.
Where's the Panda?
Well, I'm through with pandas, and so is Barney. Next junk money, I'm going to buy him an elephant.
What happened?
Well, a policeman brought it.
Yeah?
I started home with it when a car drove up, and a man with gray hair got out.
Kempthorne. What then?
Same thing. He grabbed it and got in his car and drove off. He's around the corner there playing with it. Go ask him. I don't care anymore.
Around the corner? You mean he... Period. End of report.
What a hurry.
A highly inconsiderate thing to do to a panda. But I'll give him one thing.
What thing?
He had the good grace to park in front of a vacant lot before starting to tear it apart.
Oh.
And, of course, to coin a phrase, he saved the people some money. And now, if you're a good, efficient girl and run that through your infernal machine, who knows what I'll have in store for you when you're through. No, Jelly Bean still work is done. Now, scoot, scoot, scoot.
Three chimes mean good times on NBC. Friday means another visit to that entertaining eat establishment, Duffy's Tavern. Archie, the manager, and his whimsical friends have cooked up another fresh half hour of laughs and typical Duffy's Tavern madness. And you're all invited. There's also another delightful adventure with Chester A. Riley, played by William Bendix, tonight on The Life of Riley. Keep your dial set to NBC for the very best in radio entertainment.
All official?
Yeah. I like the black one.
Lay off. Well, you're no favoriting all the black ones. You're my favorite still now. Master Robot Dozier. Very well.
Sam,
No?
I hope Roby appreciates you.
Oh, he's just a kid. How can he appreciate me?
Oh, I appreciate you, Sam.
Oh, I appreciate you too, sweetheart. You're so pretty and so efficient.
Am I, Sam?
And so good about not fitting me all the time for your back salary. Yep. Right when I stop and think of you, I go all choked up.
Me too. Black one.
Come here.
Huh?
Angel,
Yes?
it's all yours, dear. The rest of the jelly beans. Happy New Year.
Oh. Good night.
Good night, sweetheart.
The Adventures of Sam Spade are produced, edited, and directed by William Spears. Sam Spade was played by Stephen Dunn. Doreen Tuttle is Effie. Script for tonight's adventure by Harold Swanton. Musical scoring by Lud Gluskin, conducted by Robert Armbruster. Join us again next week, same time, for another adventure with Sam Spade. Enjoy the magnificent Montague, then Duffy's Tavern on NBC. The National Broadcasting Company presents The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective.
Me, sweetheart.
Sam, where have you been? I don't know what to tell them.
Tell who?
The reporters, everybody. They all say you're the first private detective in the history of San Francisco to get rich honestly.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Sam! When I think of all the back salary I'll be getting, the fur coats...
Easy, girl, easy. Prepare yourself.
Sam?
Yep.
You mean...
The $50,000 is not available to employees of the network or sponsor, which unfortunately I happen to be.
Sam!
But cheer up, girl. Think of the taxes we'll save. Now, make everything fast. I'm on my way. Meanwhile, puzzle me this. You ready?
All right, Sam.
Why does a man who is going to blow his brains out set his mental clock ahead 4 hours?
Sam, it doesn't make sense.
Ah, but it does. Mull and ponder, sweetheart. I'll be down in a trice, 1951 model, with an intellectual type report to challenge serious thinkers everywhere. To wit, the Biddle Riddle Caper.
For NBC, William Spear, radio's outstanding producer, director of mystery and crime drama, brings you the greatest private detective of them all in The Adventures of Sam Spade.
All alone by the microphone.
Iffy?
Sam, I just can't get anywhere with this.
Never kick on the third down, cherub. Give it another
No,
try.
it's no use, Sam. I'm mentally through.
Well, you know best.
I just give up. Sam,
Huh?
what are those funny little bumps on your cheek?
Go ahead, guess.
Smallpox? Plague?
You get warm.
Look like little waffle marks.
That's what happens when somebody hits you with a microphone, sweetheart. Now, if you look closer, just above the marks, under my eye,
Oh, yes.
clearly and distinctly, in reverse, of course, the 3 letters of a network known far and wide for its hospitality to unemployed private detectives.
You mean?
Shh, not here, girl. Poise the pencil. Who knows? A sponsor may be listening. Ready?
Yes,
To Mr. Tracy Abbott, Drake Carlton Hotel, copy to Dundee at homicide. From Samuel Spade, license number 137596. Subject, the Biddle Riddle Caper. Dear Tracy, it had a nice conventional start, this one. A nice conventional phone call telling me to drop up to room 402 of the Drake Carlton around 3 in the afternoon. But when I got there, I found that over the nice conventional number on the door was hung a temporary sign reading Olympic Radio Productions. Tracy Abbott, editor, director, and producer. Bidding farewell to the nice conventional part, I made bold to enter the door. Abbott, 5'8" of solid Hollywood, was waltzing with what I took to be a musician, composer, or some such.
We open Cold Bunny like this. Now, Killer at Large. Bang in with the theme. Theme. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. A great big wonderful chord there, Bunny. Check.
Check. And then the teaser.
Quote, don't go away, you out there. Stick right close to that radio set of yours, because the next half hour might put $50,000 in your pocket. Yes, $50,000 will be paid by the sponsors of this program for information leading to the arrest and conviction of a killer at large.
Ba, da, da.
Tonight, that's it, sustain the chord.
Yeah.
Tonight, the murder, tremolo. Tonight, the murder of Carol Stevens. Then, da-da-dee-bum-bum-bum-bum-bum-bum. Check. What's that?
Cymbal crash.
Do it again. Don't need it. Check.
Check.
Big, wonderful, lush. That's the word, lush. With scope and sweep and power.
I got it. Well, I'll get as lush as I can with 8 pieces.
Scope, sweep, importance. Gotta sound important. Check.
Check. I'm Sam Spade, Mr. Abbott.
Ah, yes, Spade. Glad to see you. Please sit down. No, on the other hand, you'd better stand up. No time to lose. You have 24 hours to find a man for me.
Well, that's pretty short notice.
Mr. Spade, Killer at Large is real. We keep a sensitive finger on the pulse of the people.
Well, that's nice.
We deal in real facts, real people, real crimes, and real criminals. Check?
Just how do you do this? How do you accomplish all this on the radio budget of today?
Now, you see before you, Spade, the mechanical marvel which makes this possible, the tape recorder. You're familiar with the tape recorder?
Oh, more or less.
Check. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m. PST, with the aid of the tape recorder, we shall reconstruct one of San Francisco's more sensational, unsolved crimes. The murder of Carol Stevens.
You mean the burlesque dame 3 years ago?
2 years, 8 months, and 29 days. You remember much about it?
Well, let me see. She turned up dead on the floor of her apartment, didn't she?
Check. Victim of the well-known blunt instrument. In this case, a bronze bookend carrying the bas relief of Abraham Lincoln. Much ado. Headlines by the yard. A parade of witnesses, but no arrests, period.
Fine. Now, what about me?
Our show, Spade, is made up of the simple, honest, spontaneous statements of the witnesses themselves. We're set on this one except for one man. The most important one in the case, of course.
Oh, who's that?
Jimmy Biddle, the doorman at the Broadway Burlesque, at the time the Stevens girl was killed.
Oh.
Knew her, some say he loved her. Top suspect until he came up with an alibi. Our advance men have combed the city for 2 weeks trying to find him, but no luck.
So he's blown town.
That's what I thought until this morning.
You mean you've heard from him?
I heard from someone who said he was Biddle. He also said he knew who killed Carol Stevens.
And he wanted the $50,000.
Right. I mean, check.
Oh, fair enough. Well, that's what you advertise, isn't it?
Not to people who hang up when you get curious.
Hmm?
If it was Biddle, I've got to record his story. I want him here by 8 tomorrow night. Check?
Well, since you keep bringing it up, check.
Yes.
You can make it out for $100. At Homicide, I cased the files on the Stevens thing. San Francisco's answer to the Black Dagger. A cheap killing of a cheap dame in a cheap apartment that used a lot of expensive newsprint. She'd taken her last turn under the blue spot around 10:30, left the theater, and hustled straight home, because at 11 sharp, according to the neighbor across the hall, someone had tried the Abraham Lincoln bookend on Carol for size. She hit the floor just as the 11 o'clock news came on. Biddle's alibi had to be good, and it was. It came, as a matter of fact, from the greatest little alibi factory in town. Biddle was drinking old fashions with Joseph P. Norgard, a well-known criminal lawyer at the time of the killing. So I trotted over to Norgard's office on Market Street, found him tied up, and settled down in the waiting room next to a gimlet-eyed youth in a neon-striped suit who looked like he made a living sticking up crap games. He was filing his nails.
Buddy.
Yeah, buddy?
You sure you're in the right office, buddy?
Positive, buddy.
I just thought I might save you some trouble, that's all. Sam Spade, ain't it?
Hey, you're a smart kid.
I try hard. I still think you'd be wise to blow.
Now, this is quite a turn you do, buddy. Study nights with Richard Woodmark.
Sam, I told you I want to save you a bad time. You're a nice guy.
Thank you.
Must be a lot of things you can do around town to make a buck without coming here. Now, why don't you lift it out of that chair?
I'm not going to do it, Mr. Norgard, and that's fine with me.
I'll get with you later.
Bye, buddy. The guy who bustled out of Norgard's office was flabby, florid, and frightened. Pinstripe gave me a last baleful look and sidled out into the hall after him, which was nice because I was running out of punchlines.
Luke, I thought I told you to. Oh.
Mr. Norgard?
I am?
I'm sorry to barge in. My name's Spade. I'm a private detective.
Of course you are. And a hungry one.
Well, we're polite in here, too. Why do you say that?
You're the fourth today.
Oh?
I'm about to prepare a mimeograph statement entitled, What I Know About the Stevens Case, or You Too Can Make $50,000. Like a copy?
You know, I can't remember when I've been treated so nice. What do you know about the Stevens case, Mr. Norgard?
It's all in the homicide file. On the fateful night, I ran into Jimmy Biddle as I was coming out of a bar in Chinatown. He'd hit the skids. But he used to be a useful friend, so I asked him up to my apartment for a drink.
Was he?
Sat him in a chair, made him an old-fashioned, loaned him $5, and hustled him out.
Uh-huh.
Total elapsed time, 45 minutes, from 10:45 to 11:30 p.m. And that is all I have to say at this time.
Have you seen Biddle since?
Not since the investigation. I don't know where he is now, and I don't know who killed Carol Stevens. Period.
Paragraph. Do you think Jimmy knows who killed him?
Maybe.
Well, he says he does.
Oh? Where did you see him?
He's hungry, too. We work the same breadline.
I'm sorry I said that, Spade. Who are you working for?
Olympic Radio Productions. Killer at large.
Yes? They want me to come to the studio tonight and record a statement for them.
Uh-huh.
I wonder if I ought to tell them what I really think.
What's that?
About Biddle. There's no point in talking around it anymore. I think he killed her.
Well, that's a neat trick if he was drinking your liquor at the time.
Oh, I think he did it after he left my place. Two things place the time of death. The medical examiner's report, which could be off as much as 3 hours. And the neighbor who thinks he heard the girl fall as the news came on. How reliable is that?
Well, they usually think of those things during an investigation.
But they didn't think hard enough. You say you talked to Biddle?
He called my client.
Why?
He had 50,000 good reasons, according to him. You know, funny things happen when the dough gets into it. Bought people don't stay bought. Lost people get found.
Yeah. Well, I've told you all I know, Spade. If you have no more questions.
Oh, just one more. Who's the little weasel in the pinstripe?
You mean Luke?
Yeah.
Oh, I put him out there to scare off the hungry ones. Nothing to do with you.
And the fat character he's tailing has nothing to do with me either, huh?
You really want to know?
Love to.
He's a pastry cook. I'm representing his wife in a divorce action. Thinks he's Casanova.
Pressure cooker, eh? Shoving Norgard, Pinstripe, and the flabby pastry cook in the look-up later section of my hat band, I took off for Biddle's last known address, a boarding house on Pacific Avenue. There I held hands with the landlady long enough to learn that A, she hadn't seen Biddle since a few weeks after the murder, but B, when last heard of, Biddle had gone on from the burlesque dame to something even more extremely female. According to the landlady...
Name's Rosalie. Understand she's working on the line at the Pacific Ballroom. Red hair, blue eyes, and boom, boom. You get me?
I got you. Pacific Ballroom, eh? Would you do that last again?
Boom, boom.
Yeah, just checking. Thanks, Mrs. Landlady. Hello?
Am I the lucky girl?
Well, you look like your name ought to be Rosalie.
Oh, you're psychic. Got the tickets?
Here, let me know when they're used up, huh?
Don't worry. Hey. You know you're a pretty good dancer?
Arthur Murray, class of 1906. Only I didn't come here to dance.
Oh.
I'm looking for Jimmy Biddle, you know him?
Yeah, I know him. You a cop?
Not exactly.
Oh, what's the difference, cop or no cop? You'll find him one of these days.
Where?
In the bay, maybe. Or the morgue. He knows it. That's the funny part. He knows it, and he can't do anything about it. It's got him.
Rosalie, baby, look, I know.
That's enough about Jimmy. Let's dance, huh? That's what you're paying for, isn't it? Well, come on.
Where is he?
You're wasting your time. I won't sell him out. I'm through with him, but I won't sell him out. Ah, here's your ticket.
I sauntered over to the soft drink fountain and mulled the problem over a Coke for a minute or two. There are ways of dealing with dames like Rosalie. Some of them are a little cruel, as this one was going to have to be, but time was of the essence. I kept out of sight for 20 minutes or so, watching her dancing in the arms of a moonstruck plumber, and sidled into a phone booth. The Pacific Ballroom does not permit telephone conversations while the girls are working. When I said it was the police, the plumber was turned over to a new candidate, and Rosalie came to the phone.
Hello?
This is Sam Spade, Rosalie. I was dancing with you a little while ago.
What is it?
I found Jimmy Biddle's apartment.
Oh? What's the matter? He's hurt?
That's right.
Bad?
I'm afraid so. He wants to see you.
Oh, okay. I'll be right over.
She didn't stop for a rap, just plowed a zigzag furrow through the mob at the main door and climbed into a cab at the curb. The driver must have been an old fan of hers, because they were almost out of sight by the time my cab got rolling, and that's the way it was across Market Street and all the way out Van Ness to the marina. Her cab was pulled up in front of an apartment on Jefferson Street, and she'd just gotten out when we slid in behind them. Hiya, you want to go up together?
But you said you...
I'm sorry, honey. I know it was a dirty trick, but now that's no way to be.
You shut up.
The gold card holder by the doorbell listed the tenant as W.R. Smith. Mr. Smith was evidently not home. The lady manager in the apartment next to his was, and after the usual license showing and more than the usual sweet talk, she came up with the key. Biddle wasn't wealthy, but he wasn't hungry either. The place had the well-fixed, man-about-town look, right down to the last crystal martini glass in the portable bar in the living room. Next to it was a mahogany desk, in which were sundry checkbooks and deposit slips indicating Biddle had found a prosperous widow or had been doing rather well at Canasta. A clock chimed 4 in the next room. Since it was after 10, I wondered why I went in to take a look. Maybe I was psychic, like the girl said. There was a tape recorder against one wall, the same kind I'd seen in your office, Tracy, with a microphone and a roll of tape in it, half used up. Holding the microphone with one hand was Jimmy Biddle. In the other hand, a .38. He wasn't hurt, as I'd told her. He was dead. You are listening to the weekly adventure of radio's most famous detective, Sam Spade. This Sunday, there's another outstanding production by Theater Guild on the air. It's a 1-hour adaptation of the thrilling tale of intrigue in post-war Vienna, The Third Man.
Joseph Cotton and Senior Hasso star in this Theater Guild on-the-air broadcast. And Sunday over most of these NBC stations also means The Big Show, an hour and a half of the finest in comedy, music, and drama. Tallulah will be your hostess, and just listen to a few of the stars. Fred Allen, Marlene Dietrich, Danny Thomas, and Fran Warren. There'll be many more, too, so tune in this Sunday and every Sunday for The Big Show. And now back to the Biddle Riddle Caper, tonight's adventure with Sam Spade.
In accordance with Chapter 5 of the Private Detective's Manual entitled How to Keep Your License, I called Homicide and gave him the facts and figures, then went back to the study. Jimmy Biddle was surrounded by props like Part 1 of the photo-crime puzzle. I carefully reached over his shoulder and pressed the button on the tape recorder.
My name's Jimmy Biddle. The DA will remember me. We saw a lot of each other during the week after Carol Stevens hit the deck in her apartment 3 years ago. At just about this time of night. I fooled him then. I could probably go on fooling him, but I'm tired of it. I'm tired of living this way. So here it is. I knew Carol Stevens well. I was crazy about her, and I was jealous, too. That's why I killed her. Thought I could go on and on, playing hide-and-go-seek for the rest of my life, but sooner or later this kind of thing gets too heavy to pack around. You gotta get rid of it, one way or another.
Period. End of report. I rousted the landlady again, and we went over the room together. A helpful type landlady. She contributed 1,000-odd bits of gossip about Jimmy Biddle, only one of which struck me as interesting. She'd come in this morning, she said, to clean his apartment, and among other things, had wound and set the 8-day clock on the mantel. The same clock, which was now exactly 4 hours fast. Looking closer at the tape recorder, I saw a small label pasted above one of the knobs, reading Morgas and Reed, recording technicians. Next scene, the manufacturing section of Sansom Street. A 5-story building, all dark at this hour, except for a light in the office on the second floor back, which happily turned out to be D1.
Morgas? Reed! Anybody?
Hello.
What do you want?
Well, a pastry cook.
I'm sorry. We're closed, you see. Office hours 9 to 5.
Now, wait a minute. Just a minute, pastry cook.
I'm not a pastry cook, sir. My name is Murgus. I am one of the proprietors here. Just a moment, sir.
Sorry. It was getting cold out in the hall. Oh, so you're Murgus, huh?
I am. And I don't care who you are. I know all about it, sir. I know it wasn't a practical joke.
What wasn't a practical joke?
That tape. You can march right back to the man you're working for and tell him he can't buy me off. Is that clear?
Not very.
There's no use denying it. I saw you in his office this afternoon when he threatened me. Get down, okay? What is it?
I crawled out on a fire escape in time to see my buddy in the pinstripe suit hit the bottom. The alley, praise be, was blind at one end, so Luke took off toward the street. I caught him in one leg. He stumbled, fell, smacked his head against the brick wall of the alley, and took the count. I was frisking him when a prowl cop who'd heard the shots moved up. I convinced him I wasn't rolling a drunk and left him to run back upstairs. Murgus?
Here.
I better get you to a hospital.
Who are you?
Sam Spade. I don't work for Noah Guard. Right now I'm trying to hang a murder rap on him.
Told me it was a practical joke. A gag.
What?
Tape. Jimmy Biddle. Tape.
Jimmy rented the machine from you and made the tape himself, right?
Yes. He Norgard.
What about Norgard?
Tried to beat me into it. Beat me. Wouldn't give it to him.
Give what?
Tape. No. He
tried to point to the desk as he passed out, and so to this already bubbling stew, we had a crucial typewriter. While waiting for the ambulance, I cased it and found nothing, then stuck a piece of paper into it and began to type. 4 quick brown foxes had jumped over 4 lazy dogs when a sound changed. I looked closer, then tackled a messy job I always leave to my secretary. I hate to play with typewriter ribbons, but this wasn't a typewriter ribbon, since said ribbon had come to an end and I was pecking away at a piece of sound tape. Come on, Rosalie.
No, I don't want to talk.
Look, come on. My feet are even more tired than they were an hour ago. Okay, you first. All right, now.
I'm sorry, Mr. Spade. I thought you were lying when you said Jimmy was hurt.
Look, let's not go into that now. He was blackmailing Norgard, right?
I don't even know who Norgard is.
You knew Jimmy was shaking someone down, didn't you?
I never knew where he got his money. I just know it was dirty money. He'd laugh and say he was living high, but not for long.
He never mentioned Norgard?
No, he just said he was going to make $50,000 on a radio program.
Did he say how?
Singing. I thought he was kidding, then he showed up with that tape recorder.
Well, he wasn't kidding. Then what?
He wanted to be alone, he said. He was going to make an audition and send it to a sponsor.
That's where he made the mistake. He sent it to the wrong sponsor.
Huh?
He figured to hit Norgard for the biggest touch of all. Thought hearing it might make him dig deeper. So he recorded his statement, sent it to Norgard for a sample. But there was something he didn't think of.
What do you mean?
He should have studied up on his tape recorders, baby. With a pair of scissors and a good technician, Jimmy's eyewitness account turned into a first-class confession. The final phase of the Biddle Riddle was, as you will recall, Tracy, enacted on one of the sound stages of the nation's leading network, where, as you will also recall, you were busily transcribing the testimony of various witnesses on the Carol Stevens case. How you got him, they all never know. But there he was, as big and legal-looking as ever, perjuring himself once more into one of your microphones.
I walked out of the Twin Dragon on Grant Avenue. As I remember it now, Biddle was across the street. He apparently recognized me, though.
Excuse me, will you, fellas?
What?
Hey, you idiots. You ruined it.
I'm sorry, Tracy.
Oh, we'll have to start it over again, Mr. Norgard.
Would you mind if I record a few remarks?
Spade, please understand my position. Biddle's confession has changed everything.
I know.
The killer is not at large.
Yeah.
24 hours we spent recording the show. Now it'll all have to be done over again.
Sorry.
These people at this house.
Listen, Tracy.
All right, Spade. What is it?
I'm only trying to help. Now, where's Biddle's confession?
On the machine there. We're going to dub it onto the main tape.
Good. Now, be a good lad and show me where you're starting to stop it, huh?
Right there.
Okay.
So, what is this, Spade?
This is going to interest you, Mr. Norgard. Now, let us turn to the tape, keeping our eyes on the spool as it slowly feeds Jimmy Biddle's last statement.
My name's Jimmy
the
Biddle.
amplifier.
The DA will remember me. We saw a lot of each other during the week after Carol Stevens hit the deck in her apartment 3 years ago. At just about this time of night. I fooled him then. I could probably go on fooling him, but I'm tired of it. I'm tired of living this way. So here it is. I knew Carol Stevens well. I was crazy about her, and I was jealous, too. That's why
There's a riddle for you, Norgard. He said the girl died, quote, at just about this time of night, unquote. But the clock struck 3 times. We know she died at 11. What happened to the other 8 chimes?
Spade, this is no time.
Be patient with me, Tracy. What about it, Norgard?
Well, how do I know? The man was crazy, maybe.
No. He wasn't crazy. Stupid, but not crazy. So we take this spool of tape off and put this one.
What's that?
This is the part that was cut out. Got it from the guy who did the splicing job for you, thinking it was a practical joke or something.
Sam, do you know what you're saying?
Yeah, but Biddle says it better. The last thing we heard was I was crazy about her, and I was jealous, too. That's why I killed her. Only he didn't say killed her. Just, that's why I...
We're standing outside in the hallway of her apartment the night she died. I'd seen her leave the theater with a guy I recognized. I followed him home to her place. Heard the argument, everything, but I had no idea he'd kill her until I heard her hit the floor. Door busted open then, and he came out looking like a crazy man. He didn't even see me. He just ran down the back stairs as fast as he could go. I went in and saw her lying on the floor, dead. I could have killed him then, but I thought of something better. He's good pay. The cash comes right on time. But I'm tired of living this way. So there's the story. The man who killed Carol Stevens...
That's your right.
Which is as far as Biddle got, since Norgard had grabbed a stand mic and slammed it into the recording machine. In the rhubarb which followed, he also slammed it into my face, which is why I carry the imprint of the nation's #1 network just below my right eye. So that's about the crop, Tracy. Norgard and Pinstripe now lie cheek by jowl in the jail hospital trying to think of an honest lawyer who'll defend them. While you, Tracy, with a 3rd round of interviews before you, are considering tossing out Carol Stevens and doing the shooting of Dan McGrew. Period. End of report.
Sam, how unfortunate.
Unfortunate?
You never got to explain about the clock. It was 4 hours back.
Why, sweetheart, that's self-explanatory. The clock said 4, you see?
Yes.
But it was 12. Biddle have been dead an hour, which makes it 11. Carry 1. Subtracting 4 from that leaves 7.
7.
And assuming he'd been there an hour before that makes 6.
Sam, what relentless logic. Just like Ellery Queen.
Effie, on this program, we do not plug rival products. Now go and type that up when I figure this out. Scoot, scoot.
Yes.
3 chimes mean good times on NBC. There's mystery and music every Saturday on NBC. For Mystery tomorrow, Herbert Marshall stars as the Man Called X. The Man Called X is a man without a name who travels the world over combating the forces of international espionage and intrigue. For music tomorrow, your hit parade brings you the top tunes in the land, played by Raymond Scott's orchestra and with vocals by Snooky Lanson and Eileen Wilson.
Thank you, dear one. I see by the furrows in your brow that you have not as yet solved the matter of the missing chimes.
Oh, why Norgard set the clock ahead when he shot Jimmy Biddle?
How to approach this? You realize Norgard cut a hunk out of the tape,
yes,
removing Biddle's eyewitness account, setting him up as a suicide, right?
But Sam...
Don't make me change my grip here. Though Biddle, by his own statement, made the recording at the time of the murder of Carol Stevens, to wit 11 o'clock. Now, in cutting out the crucial words, Norgard also had to cut out 8 chimes. This, he realized, would be noticed. So he set the clock ahead to make the number of chimes jibe. Chimes jibe. Chimes jibe. Nice ring.
Sam, will it be all right with you if I just say I understand when I really don't?
Sure, sweetheart.
I'll just type and answer the phone, and you use your feet and your head.
And together we'll end up...
I know, with... Good night, Sam.
Good night, sweetheart.
The Adventures of Sam Spade are produced, edited, and directed by William Spear. Sam Spade was played by Stephen Dunn. Lorene Tuttle is Effie. Script for tonight's adventure by Harold Swanton. Musical scoring by Lud Gluskin, conducted by Robert Armbruster. Join us again next week, same time, for another adventure with Sam Spade. Enjoy The Magnificent Montague, then Duffy's Tavern on NBC. The National Broadcasting Company presents The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective.
Sam Spade Detective Agency.
Me, sweetheart.
Sam! Most of the day is gone and you haven't even come into the office.
I slept in, Effie.
Did you have a busy night?
Rather. Didn't you read the papers today? What?
Oh, I've given up reading the papers. They're so full of bad news lately.
Well, they're especially full of bad news today, Effie.
What happened?
Oh.
Did your bowling team lose again?
Effie, I'll thank you not to mention my bowling team in public. It's just a matter of getting a little exercise. And it didn't lose, it won, even without me.
It only seems to win when you don't play on it, Sam.
Effie, don't forget your position.
Sorry, Sam.
Anyway, how do we get on this bowling kick? We're supposed to be talking about something else.
About last night.
Oh, yes. Well, this one has more than local complications. Intrigue, foreign correspondence, dirty work on a grand scale. It's international in scope. You'll chill with me, you'll thrill with me, half rogue and half renegade. It's Sam Spade in the Red Star caper.
For NBC, William Spear, radio's outstanding producer-director of mystery and crime drama, brings you the greatest private detective of them all in The Adventures of Sam Spade.
Effie?
Yes, Sam.
I'm here.
It's about time.
Well, I'm here.
It's about time.
Effie, you sound more like a shrew every day.
Thank you, Sam. I'm just being practical, you know. How can we make money if you don't show up? Well, I had to turn away 3 clients today.
Well, that's right. I'm thinking of quitting private detecting anyway.
You are? Really? What would you do?
Well, I know a reporter job that's open. Now, how would that sound? Scoop Spade. My beat is the universe.
Oh, that sounds terrible, Sam. You make a silly reporter. You can't even type.
Sometimes, Effie, you hit the nail right on the point, where it hurts. Now, let's get down to business.
Well, I hope I didn't offend you, Sam.
Well, watch it. Date January 12th, 1951. To Lieutenant I.C. Kelsey, homicide detail, San Francisco Police. From Samuel Spade, license number 137596. Subject, the Red Star Caper. Dear Kelsey, it had been some time since I had attended a lecture. In fact, the last one I can remember is when Margaret Sanger passed through town. But last night at 8 o'clock, I filed into the Central Municipal Auditorium along with several hundred other people, including college students, newspaper men, professors of political science, the usual curious complement, and a goodly sprinkling of snuffling indigents who welcomed any easy means of escaping the cold winds that whoop through the Mission District at this time of the year.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to see so many politically minded faces gathered in this auditorium tonight. To let the world know that so many of us are trying to keep abreast of the fast-moving and sometimes confusing events of our troubled days serves as a graphic example to those who would try to take our liberties away from us, that we are ever alert and that we will continue to defend those liberties. Only by taking every opportunity to display our willingness to understand and act on the problems that face us can we serve notice to the world that we are ever ready to pick up the gauntlet of international challenge whenever or wherever it may be thrown down. The subject for tonight is, are we helping our enemies? And our speaker scarcely needs introduction, but just in case there are a few hermits in our audience who have never owned a radio set nor seen a newspaper in the past 10 years, well, just in case there are, let me introduce a man who really needs no introduction, the most distinguished foreign correspondent, Cyrus Manning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Are we helping our enemies? That is the question. My answer in a word is yes. And that answer is not hasty or ill-advised. I have just returned from the thorough coverage of the Orient. I have visited the tragic blood-soaked battlefields of Korea. I've talked with the military leaders of the armed camp of Formosa. I've trod the nervous defenseless soil of the Philippines and Japan. And I have even made 2 secret trips, incognito, right into the bastion of the communist stronghold on the China mainland. And this is my report. This materially from this very city, shipments are being made regularly to Red China.
I was sitting halfway up the hall when the lights went out. I cut for a side aisle and raced for the stage. Someone was running for a back exit, and I followed. I was too late. The car had roared out of the back alley and was gone. On the stage, someone had rung down the curtain. Cyrus Manning was on the floor, and the chairman was bending over him. He's dead. They almost shot me, too. Let me see. Yeah, you're right. There's nothing anybody can do for him right now. The lights went out, and then the shot. Oh, this is the most terrible thing that ever happened to me. To you? Shall I ask him to get up and call the police, or do you think that with one last dying effort you might do it? I'll call him. Oh, I guess he did get the worst of it. I guess he did. And that's how the news reached you, Kelsey. Now, suppose you want to know how I happened to be at a lecture where the lecturer happened to be shot. Well, I'll tell you, and don't think it makes me happy. You see, I was supposed to be his bodyguard. Now, let's start at the beginning, shall we? It's early afternoon. Our stupid hero is sitting around trying to break the code on a scratch sheet.
Sam, are you in?
Only the client, Seth. Who is it?
Dick Davis, foreign news editor on the Tribune.
Well, he probably has me confused with Mr. X, but I'll take it. Yeah, Dick?
You ever hear of Cyrus Manning, Sam?
A foreign correspondent?
Yeah, that's the one. He's in town. He got here yesterday.
Well, what is it, a benefit? You want me to do card tricks or something?
He needs a bodyguard. I don't know anybody else who'd be crazy enough to take the job, so I called you.
Oh, gee, thanks. Read the letters to the editor column tomorrow for my reply.
I didn't know whether you'd take the job, but I sent him over to see you anyway.
Who does he want to be bodyguarded against?
Well, I'll let him tell you about it, Sam, but I'll give you a clue. Their home base runs west from the center of Berlin, east to slightly below the 38th parallel.
Oh, those people, huh? Well, there are only 200 or 300 million of them. I shouldn't have any trouble.
Then you'll take the job, Sam?
Who's paying?
We are, 50 a day.
60. Haven't you heard of the cost of living index?
Yeah, all right, it's a deal.
Good.
That's one thing, Sam. If you have a good picture of yourself, taken recently, kid, we'd appreciate a copy.
Why?
Probable, that is, possible obituary.
Davis, what are you saying?
If I don't see you again, Sam, good luck.
I quit. I won't take the job. Davis! Effie!
Yes, I'm here.
I'm leaving town for a few days, F. Look, throw some things in my suitcase in the closet.
All right, then. But wait, there's someone here to see you.
I don't suppose his name is Cyrus Manning.
Did you ever guess, Sam?
Oh, it was easy. I just thought of the name of a man I would least like to see. Send him in.
Sam, sometimes I just can't understand you.
I have the same trouble, F. I'll send him in and forget about the suitcase. I am not going to succumb to hysteria.
Are you sure you're all right?
Of course I am. On these troubled times, we must keep our heads cool and our powder dry.
Well, I'll try to.
I'll send him in.
All right. You let him in now, Mr. Manning?
Thank you. How do you do, Spade?
Sit down.
Oh, thank you, old man.
Could you lift up your hat brim so I could see your face and maybe even take off your trench?
Well, I never take them off, Spade.
Oh?
They're the mark of my profession.
Oh.
The life of a foreign correspondent isn't as old, you know. I might be whisked off to Berlin or Siberia in a matter of minutes. Sometimes I even sleep in these clothes.
Well, you know best.
I wore this trench coat when I interviewed Hitler. When I stood knee-deep in water on the shores of the Philippines. Next to MacArthur.
Really?
Why, the commandant of the prison camp didn't dare take it off of me when I was captured by the Chinese guerrillas. And when Mussolini...
Would you care for a drink?
Drink? Yeah. Thank you, sir. I see you pouring deep.
Well, here's the crime.
No, Spade, no. Just a minute. I never drink without first offering special toast.
Offer.
Oh, may the great white wings of the thunderbird brush lightly over your grave. A little translation of an old Tibetan toast.
Swell. Well, guess it probably loses something in the translation.
It's good to get back to the States where they have real liquor. I'm getting tired of sake and Korean moonshine.
I didn't know they had time to make it.
Well, let's get down to business, Spade. This is my problem. I have been no respecter of censorship or official red tape. That's why I've scored some of my biggest news beats.
I take it you're working on one now.
Oh, the biggest. Did you know that material is being shipped out of San Francisco to the Chinese Communist forces? Stuff that they are even now using against us on the battlefield?
Well, no, I didn't, but I could believe it.
Well, for weeks now I have been tracking down the truth, documenting the facts, ferreting out the cover-ups, the lies, the falsehoods.
Oh, good for you.
Tonight I'm giving a lecture at the Central Municipal Auditorium. Press representatives from every newspaper and syndicate will be there.
Of course.
I'll give the general outline of my revelations, and it'll hit every newspaper in the country. Then, when the public's appetite is whetted, I'll publish the specific details in the Tribune the following day, and we'll score a clean scoop.
I see, and you feel somebody's gunning for you.
I know they are.
Anybody specific?
I'm not at liberty to name any names just now.
Oh.
But after I give my first lecture tonight, it might be filthy for me.
Well, the Tribune's hired me, and I'll do my best.
I've been in tight spots before, Spade, but my duty is clear before me, and I'll not shirk it. I won't need you before the lecture, but immediately after your services will be appreciated.
Well, why don't I stick with the starting right now?
Now, after the lecture will be 2 minutes.
You know best?
They think I'm afraid to talk, but I guess I'm ready to give them a surprise, huh? Yeah? One that they can read in their morning newspapers, huh, Spade? Yeah? Yeah?
Well, he was half right, Chateau. Might not have been a surprise, but they were able to read it in the morning papers. And at least Manning got a laugh out of it, which was more than I did. You arrived at the murder scene 3 minutes after you were called.
He was shot, Sam.
I would say so, Chelsea. I would say so.
Well, and it's easy. We'll search everybody in the audience before we let them go.
Chelsea, I was in the audience. Manning was shot from backstage and overdid it, ran out the back door.
Oh, that's right, Sam. You already told me that. That makes it a little harder.
Now, look, Chelsea, the doorman is sitting right over there. See, the killer knocked him down coming into the stage. Now, why don't you question him?
You're not kidding me, Sam.
Chelsea, so help me, it's straight.
All right, let's question him. You the doorman?
Yeah. He hit me right in the jaw. Just like that. Oh, no, you
Chelsea, for heaven's sake, get up.
Hitting a police officer. I'll have you arrested.
I'm sorry, officer. I'm terribly sorry it was an accident. I was just showing you how he hit me.
Oh, all right. But when you come to the shooting part, you be careful.
Well, the door opened and a big man barked through, see? Before I could open my mouth, he hit me. And I fell flat on my back.
Have you got a good look at him?
No, all I saw was a tattoo on the back of his hand. It was a red star.
You mean he stood there and shot Manning and you didn't see him?
As soon as he knocked me down, he put out the lights. And then he run out. I started to get up and saw the car pull away.
What kind of a car?
It was a light blue convertible.
And you remember anything else?
Absolutely nothing else.
Are you sure?
Absolutely sure. I don't suppose it's worth much, but the license number was 4N75323.
No, I don't think. Oh, yeah.
After you recovered from your apoplexy, Kelsey, and checked the license number, we were more confused than ever. Belonged to Cyrus Manning himself. While you were calling headquarters, I searched Manning, and the notes from which he was speaking were gone. I reasoned that he might have had a carbon copy or handwritten notes in his hotel room or wherever he lived. The Tribune supplied his address, the Congress on Fillmore above Van Ness, room 612. Coming out of the elevator, I bumped into a tall, handsome brunette hurrying in.
Excuse me.
It was my fault.
If you go to the right, I'll go to the left.
All right, ready? Shift.
Going down. Hurry, please.
She was nice, but I had other things to worry about. No one answered Manning's door when I knocked just to see what might happen, so I let myself in. Before I even had time to look for any notes, I knew it wasn't any use, because lying on the floor with his skull fractured was Dick Davis, late of the Tribune. You are listening to the weekly adventure of radio's most famous detective, Sam Spade. 90 minutes of comedy, music, and drama, all presided over by the glamorous Tallulah Bankhead. That's The Big Show, brought to you every Sunday on NBC. This Sunday's Big Show features such bright stars as Jack Carter, Jimmy Durante, Louis Calhern, Martha Ray, and many more. Plus music by Fran Warren and Meredith Wilson's Chorus and Orchestra. It's The Big Show. And Sunday over most of these NBC stations also means a 1-hour adaptation of a famous play or story by Theater Guild on the Air. This Sunday's Theater Guild production is Philby, starring Rex Harrison and Teresa Wright. And now back to the Red Star Caper, tonight's adventure with Sam Spade. Cyrus Manning's room had been worked over thoroughly. There were no notes lying around which described the activities of anyone sending war material to the Chinese communists. The only pertinent piece of evidence was the corpse of Dick Davis. I didn't call your office right away, Chelsea, because I wanted to get out of there and begin asking some questions before the trail was cold. Strangely enough, in a man's hotel room, there were many items that belonged to a woman. Clothes, makeup, and so on. And they recalled to mind the girl I'd bumped into getting out of the elevator. And this recalled to me the elevator operator.
I seen her coming up and down a few times. I know who she is.
Did you know Manning when you saw him?
Yeah, I knew him, the celebrities. But I can't remember like everybody.
Was the girl ever with him, if you remember?
Well, not that I remember.
Do you recall a short, dark, thin man coming up, name of Davis?
They don't pay me to remember the people. I just get paid to take them up and down. And not very much, either.
Will this help you remember anything?
What $10 will do for your memory. A thin, dark man went up about 8:30. Didn't see him come down, though. He was alone.
Good memory. Did anyone else in the elevator tonight stick in your mind?
The only guy I can remember is one who didn't look like he belonged here. Big. Had a pockmarked face.
Huh?
Oh, and on the back of one hand, he had a red star tattooed.
Manning was going to reveal something about materiel being shipped to China. Shipped was the word I'd overlooked. And someone tattooed who looked as if he didn't belong in a good hotel and had the smell of the waterfront on him. So I splashed myself with cologne and went looking for the man who knows most about the strange smells of the waterfront. In fact, he's one of them. He's an indescribably low man, a fungus on the tree trunk of honesty, a spider in the lunch pail of lawfulness, porky grouse, a stool pigeon, so low he has to climb down a ladder to tie his shoelaces. I found him at the Blue Lantern bar, took a capsule to settle my stomach, ordered a bottle and 2 glasses, and somehow forced myself to wave him.
Well,
yesterday, my old buddy, my old drinking pal, good time Charlie Spade.
Buddy.
You pouring, Sam?
Porky, the other side of the table, please. I might need room in case of fire.
I like it on this side, Sam. I can keep my eye on the window.
All right, I'll move.
Oh, Sam, you're too far away. I can hardly see you.
Poor Cloud. Now, look, tell me something, Porky. Do you know anybody who's shipping stuff to China from here, or someone with a red star tattooed on his hand?
Honey, just so high, I don't think I could squeeze a word out of it.
All right, here's one.
You're Prince Sam.
Please.
It's still kind of dry, Sam.
Okay.
Oh, there's nobody like you, Sam. You're beautiful.
Other way.
Where was we? Who was that stooling on?
Usually me, but if you can't think of anything else, try to remember where these drinks came from and talk accordingly.
What do you want me to talk about, Sam? You better get me quick before my throat dries up now.
Have you ever heard of anyone shipping war goods to China, Porky, or a man with a red star in his hand?
Ask me something else, Sam. I'd rather not answer that.
I'll see if this changes your effort. What again?
Oh, you're a prince, Sam. Now, let me see. I heard about somebody shipping goods to the heathen Chinese.
Yeah?
But Sam, I gotta get going.
Porky, Rob, come back here.
I'm sorry, Sam. I just remembered I left something home on the stove.
You don't have a home. I turned around to watch him settle out the door, and I saw for the first time what must have caused his hate. A face as evil as any I've seen these days outside of yours, Kelsey, was staring through the dirty window. The face moved for the door and entered, perched upon a big body under a sea cap. His arms were shoved into a pea jacket, and his legs hit the floor like slow jackhammers as he walked toward me.
You trying to pump information out of Grout, pal?
Why else would anyone in his right mind give Porky Grout free drinks? Or stand there close to him?
Who are you? What are you trying to find out?
Frankly, it's none of your business.
Look, pal, I grew up on the waterfront the hard way. I've knocked guys like you all over every port in the world. Now, don't make me mad.
Why don't you make it easy and tell me who you are and what you want?
I never answer questions. I just do the asking.
Oh?
Are you going to tell me something, or am I going to beat it out of you?
Well, I guess it's going to have to be the hard way.
Okay, pal. But just remember this. After I get through with you, I don't want never to see you down around here again. Because you bother me.
Now we come to the embarrassing part of my report, Kelsey. I did everything I usually do, but this time it didn't work. Now I know how those other puppies I batted around for the past few years feel. But all was not lost. There was a crushing right hand coming in from the side that did the damage. And it hit me right under my good eye. And on the back of that hand was tattooed a big red star. When I got up from the floor, he was gone. So was everyone else in the place but the bartender.
You feel better now, mister? I told you not to have that last drink.
What drink? Who was the guy who did it?
Did what?
Knock me down. What do you think?
Oh, brother, you really got one on. I didn't see anybody knock you down.
You didn't see a big red-headed guy in a pea jacket take a swing at me?
Look, have a drink on the house. Maybe you'll feel better, huh?
Don't give me that lost weekend routine. Who was it?
Let go of me. I don't know what you're talking about.
What happened to all those other people who were drinking here?
Now, look, mister, you can believe it or not, the only two people I served in here tonight have been you and Porky Grout. And as for a guy knocking you down, well, you must have hallucinations.
Threats, money, nothing worked. And I knew nothing would either because the sign had been put on me. So before anything more serious happened, I got out of there. And by there, I mean both the bar and the neighborhood. It was not that I was scared, but I'd long ago learned the value of an orderly retreat. Or as they used to say in my neighborhood when I was a kid, he who hits and runs away lives to hit another day. I decided to go at things from another angle, like who owned the woman's things that I saw in Cyrus Manning's room?
They belong to Mr. Manning's wife.
Kirk, are you sure Manning had a wife?
Well, they registered as man and wife, Mr. Spade.
What did she look like?
Tall, good-looking brunette.
Hmm?
You know, now that we're talking about her, there was something strange in their relationship.
What?
She never stayed here at night. She only came in the morning and left in the afternoon.
Do you know her first name or anything else about her?
No, Mr. Spade, not another thing.
Well, it was a start, at least. She was obviously the girl I'd met on the elevator. I looked up a number of Manning's friends, but the first 3 or 4 couldn't help me. But the fifth said that Manning had married about 6 months ago, and he'd never seen the wife. Her name, as he remembered, was Faye Kearney, and her father was a ship's captain. I ran down the name Kearney over at the maritime office and discovered that he owned 3 ships, 2 of which were in port. On the first ship, the Downwind, they told me Kearney lived on the other one. It was the Western Sun at Pier 92. I went up the gangplank to the forward housing where the captain's cabin normally was located.
Yes?
Faye Kearney?
Yes, who are you?
Remember me from the Congress Hotel? Elevator, 6th floor?
I'm not sure.
Well, perhaps I should have told you Mrs. Cyrus Manning.
Why didn't you come in?
Who? Sam Spade. I was hired as a bodyguard for your husband, but I got there too late.
Yes. Everybody did. Mostly me.
Oh, please don't cry just yet. Why do you say mostly me?
I might have done something about it.
Why were you running out of the hotel?
I found Mr. Davis. Yes.
Have you any idea who did it?
Yes.
Who?
The same person who killed Star.
Who was that?
Me, I suppose. Yeah, I'm really responsible. I caused the whole thing. The whole thing.
She poured her misery out over my shoulder, and then she told me the whole story. She had met and married Cyrus Manning secretly against her father's will. When he found out, he took her aboard one of his ships and kept her prisoner. While she was aboard the ship, she found out what her father was doing, carrying essential war materiel to communist China. So somehow, smuggled the information to Manning. She did, and the arrangement was that they were going to trade the information for her father's blessing on their marriage. But once Manning got the information, he wanted to shoot more than he did his wife. That's when the trouble started.
Here he comes, Sam. Here he comes.
You get out of the way.
If he finds you here...
Get in the back room.
What are you doing here?
Just came to pay your visit.
You should have learned your lesson the first time.
This time it's for keeps, Tony.
That's the way I feel.
I couldn't let him kill again. I just couldn't.
Period. End of report.
Did he die, Sam?
It was a matter of seconds, Beth.
Oh, Sam. All that poor girl wanted was love.
Oh.
And look what happened to her. Her father.
Yeah.
You were the only witness, Sam. Do you think tonight better press the evidence to self-defense?
I'm tempted, Effie. I'll say that much. Now, go type that up.
Oh, Sam,
Three chimes mean good times on NBC. There's music and fun tomorrow on NBC to help your Saturday evening along. Your hit parade brings you the top tunes in the land with Raymond Scott, Snooky Lanston, and Eileen Wilson. The Dennis Day Show sparkles with songs and madcap adventures, starring charming, boyish Dennis Day. And Grand Ole Opry presents Red Foley and his friends in 30 minutes of music and laughter, Western style.
Believe me, I didn't enjoy typing it at all.
I didn't expect that you would, F. As a matter of fact, it surprised me that you enjoy any of them.
Well, I never liked the killing part, Sam.
Oh?
But sometimes, you know, the funniest people for clients, and when I write down the things they say, I can't help it.
Well, if it makes you happy, I'll try to get more comedians for clients. In the meantime, you'll have to suffer along on whatever dregs of humanity the winds of fate blow into my office.
Sam! That was absolutely poetic. The winds of fate.
Oh, it's nothing. I expect to appear in the next edition of Bartlett's Familiar Quotations. Now, would you like to hear one of my longer attempts at poetic phrasing?
Oh, yes, Sam, I'd love to hear it.
Oh, good. This is called cigar. A cigar isn't far from a large cigarette in the raw material it employs, but the smoke is no joke, if you haven't learned yet, for it weeds out the men from the boys.
Oh, Sam, that's wonderful.
Yes,
You ought to be able to sell that to someone.
Effie, I can't even sell me.
Give me another one, Sam.
All right. There was a young girl with a heart as big as the wheels on a cart. At the end of the day, she always would say...
Good night, Sam.
No. Good night, sweetheart.
Oh, Sam, you're wonderful.
Sam Spade are produced, edited, and directed by William Spears. Sam Spade was played by Stephen Dunn. Lorene Tuttle is Effie. Script for tonight's adventure by John Michael Hayes. Musical scoring by Lud Gluskin, conducted by Robert Armbruster. Join us again next week, same time, for another adventure with Sam Spade. Enjoy The Magnificent Montague. Then it's Duffy Tavern on NBC.
The National Broadcasting Company presents The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective.
Detective Agency?
Miss Perrine?
Who did you think it was, Sam? Not a Harry?
You don't know what a hot guess that is, Cherub.
Really, Sam?
Mm-hmm.
You think I'm the femme fatale type?
In a black velvet gown with a veil? What chance would I have?
Sam, you've given me new heart.
Deservedly so, Wonder Girl. And in femme fatale, you have hit upon what might be called the keynote of the saga, which even now I am itching to tell you.
A saga?
More, a tale, Effie, well calculated to keep you in... Oh, no, we better put that another way. But while I mull a subtitle for this Oriental tapestry, find yourself a copy of something by Eric Ambler or E. Phillips Oppenheim and bone up on the ground rules of international intrigue.
Ooh, international?
Ooh, yes. The next 39 steps you hear will be me walking up to the door in my black Homburg and velvet collar, with my pockets bulging with plans for submarines, supersonic airplanes, and secret fortifications, and my tongue a wag with a report which will echo around the embassies of the world as the Cloak and Dagger caper. For NBC, William Spear, radio's outstanding producer-director of mystery and crime drama, brings you the greatest private detective of them all in The Adventures of Sam Spade.
Sam?
Who else?
Sam, I thought you were kidding.
About what?
The black Homburg and velvet-colored overcoat.
Yeah. But underneath the overcoat,
Same old Sam.
With the same old suit and the same old shreds.
Who did it this time?
Thereby hangs the tale. Huh?
It's hanging out the back of your trousers, Sam.
What?
It's your tail.
Well, better keep the coat on. Jawaharlal won't mind.
Who?
Jawaharlal Barra. It's his coat. We'll go into that right now. You ready?
Yes, sir. To?
Jawaharlal Barra.
Jawaharlal,
Well, speaking.
From Samuel Spade, license number 127596. Subject?
The Cloak and Dagger caper. Dear Jawaharlal. I'd been out Friday night until 4 a.m. watching wedding presents. So when Saturday turned up rainy, I did the mad, impulsive thing and decided to stay home. I plugged the phone, built a fire and a tall drink, invited Freddie, the neighbor's cat, in for a short milk, put my feet up and my head down, and reached for a magazine. A picture of peace, Jawaharlal. Freddie lay on the coffee table, purred, and busied himself spinning the hand-rubbed Lazy Susan my unpredictable Aunt Adelaide gave me for Christmas. The magazine turned out to be Time, with a picture of an austere Asiatic gentleman on the cover. 2 pages, and I have the kind of headache you can only get from reading the news these days, so I turned it in on a slick pulp, with a breathless yarn about an international gumshoe and a satin-lined cloak who kept running into women with bosoms full of papers. She gazed up at him, her eyes smoldering, heavy-lidded. You, she faltered. You are Sheridan Ballard. Mr. G, too? He nodded. Her knife made a glistening arc, stopping as his hand met her wrist, gripping it like a vise. You liar, she hissed. With the other hand, he ripped away her veil, smothered her lips in hot, fierce kisses, felt her go limp in his arms. Now, Zelda, my girl, he whispered, let's have the plans for that plutonium-powered rocket ship. Veil lady.
Mr. Spade?
Huh? Well. What can I do for you, Veil Lady?
You do not mind that I come in so?
How did you come in so?
The door is open. I see sitting in chair an attractive man. So?
You are perhaps working on a remake of The Thief of Baghdad for television?
Black tube, of course.
Oh, you mean this what I have on?
Also this what you haven't on. You keep out of this, Freddie. I saw her first. So, you just happened to be wandering past my door and popped in, is that it? Miss,
You may call me Shalimar. No, I do not just pop in. I come by design.
Well, just what kind of designs do you have in mind?
Mr. Spade, you are Private Eyes?
Shalimar, I am Private Eyes. You got troubles?
Much.
How much?
I am beloved of Ahmed.
Well, that's nice for Ahmed. Ahmed who?
McCloud.
Ahmed McClatchy? How do you explain that?
He has two American names.
Oh, figure.
You are a friend of Ahmed, too?
Never heard of him.
Oh, perhaps, Mr. Spade, perhaps you forget.
Ahmed McClatchy? No.
No?
Never forget a face. What's the matter with Ahmed?
Hashish.
Dope?
Much. He has the wild dream, the night host of what you call hallucination. You have told others of Ahmed's visit to you?
I have told no one of Ahmed's visit to me for the simple reason that he...
Hold.
Huh?
Do not pile upon one falsehood another. Ahmed has to you paid a visit, this I know.
Oh?
Now, if you will be so kindly, I will join you in drink.
Now, wait a minute. Why don't we...
You do not want to talk with Shalimar?
Well, I just think we ought to clear up this misunderstanding.
Now?
What do you have? Had I been the Sultan and she Scheherazade, the book would have gone on for 20 more volumes. It was all there, the veil below the eyes, the jackets and long satin pants, plus a superabundance of what sultans look for when they are employing a harem. I fumbled around putting I don't know what into a couple of martinis, found more milk for Freddie's saucer, and then set all three between us on Aunt Adelaide's Lazy Susan.
This I like, Mr. Spade.
Fine. Now we talk? Drink your milk, Freddie.
Now we talk. You have match? My purse.
Oh, I'll get it for you. Don't move now. You're almost stepping on it.
Oh, so clumsy. The lipstick is on the chair.
Yeah, I see it. There we are. There.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now, the light?
Got it.
Now, Mr. Spade, before we talk of Ahmed, let us drink to him, huh?
Right. To Ahmed?
To Ahmed.
Oh, what's the matter, Freddie? Oh.
What?
Yeah, look, the note's on the wrong side. He did it again.
Did what?
Well, he likes to spin the Lazy Susan.
Lazy Susan? What did he do?
Now, take it easy, honey. The thing spins. See, you got my drink, I got yours, and Freddie got left out.
No. Oh, no. Dagger. You're
Look, baby, please, don't go off the deep end. Take it easy. What's the matter with you? Huh? Shalimar. Oh, Shalimar, baby. Come out of it now, will you? Where's the glass? Oh. Cyanide. So, that took care of Shalimar. The purse had nothing except the usual feminine claptrap, hairpins, makeup, and cigarettes. No keys, no identification, nothing except for a locket around her neck. Which was something you don't run into every day. A strange hand-wrought disc-shaped thing with what looked like the face of a clock on it. 12 Arabic symbols where the hour should be, and a pair of hands pointing to 4. In some Jawaharlal, it was the sort of thing Sheridan Ballard, the man called G2, yawns over, which struck Humdrum me as a little bit out of the ordinary. It struck Lieutenant Dundee of Homicide the same way.
Look at me, Sam. Look into my eyes.
Dundee, I didn't know you cared.
Well, no, I am not an idiot, Sam.
Well,
I've been in this business for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've looked at a lot of stiffs in my lifetime,
yes?
but this is the first hoochie-coochie girl in my book who ever walked in out of the rain and tried to poison a total stranger.
Well said, Dundee. Here.
So, use your head, Sam. Where have you seen her before?
I told you I don't know her, Dundee.
Then why did she try to kill you?
Ask her.
This whole thing's impossible. Harem costume, poison, Shalimar.
Fantastic, I know. I'm sorry.
All right, get out of here. The print man, the ME, and the photographers will be here in a minute. You'll only get in the way.
Where'll I go?
Anywhere. Find out who this dame is.
Who's going to pay my fee?
Well, scram.
Bidding farewell to the gentle lieutenant, I took off into the rain, bound I knew not where. I bought a paper and settled down in a one-armed coffee joint, drank 3 cups of coffee, and came up with 3 leads. First, the ballet master at the Opera House.
Scheherazade, we are not doing till 3 weeks yet. The costumes are all packed up still, and I am missing no ballerinas. Now again, golden apple princesses. 1 and 2, and 1 and 2.
She wiggles and waggles, she shimmies and shakes. You never saw anything like this, folks. So hurry. Direct from a Turkish harem, little Fatima, the girl with the double-jointed...
Jack.
Yeah, Jack?
You sure she's in there, Jack?
Wait a minute, Jack. Yeah, she's in there, man.
Thanks, man.
All right, folks, step in a little closer. She shakes.
Sorry, but can't help you a bit. This here Turkish bat is 100% spared.
Homeward bound, I was walking down Grant Avenue when I passed a little shop near Pine Street. Gold lettering on one corner of the window spelled out, Hatchadurian J. Pappas, importer, curios.
How do you do, sir?
Hatchadurian J. Pappas?
You get the pleasure.
What's the J for?
Never mind, kiddo. You can pronounce it.
I accept your apology. Now, will you take a look at this?
Huh? Oh, Lakis, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yes, Lakis it is. Where do you get this Lakis, sir?
I found it. I thought you might recognize it.
Hey, I think I do.
Good.
You know, strange you should have come here. And yet not so strange either, if you want to look on it.
Well, which is it?
Sure. You know, I'm perhaps the only fella in town who might have dealt in this kind of stuff here. It's quite genuine.
Oh, you mean you sold this?
Probably. Sure.
Who to?
I'm trying to remember.
A girl?
A girl. Or was it a fella? A young fella? Or old fella?
Well, that leaves only one more category.
Huh?
An old woman.
Oh, you know her then?
No, I don't know her, no.
You know, I wish I could remember to whom I sold it to.
Yes.
It's been such a long time, you know. Of course, I can look it up and call you, Sport.
Good. Here's my card.
Oh, Sam Sport. Huh?
Well, if you want to look at it. You said it's genuine, huh?
Oh, sure. Secret Society medallion. 16th century. It's from the Indian state of Kashmir.
Kashmir?
Sure, kiddo. Kashmir. What's the matter with you? Don't you understand English?
Kashmir. A typical Spade blunder. All I could think of was a girl on a cigarette package, thereby confining my operations to Turkey. But this opened new doors. The first, the most obvious, and ultimately the correct choice was a flossy nightclub known to the town's well-heeled party folk as the Vale of Kashmir. It was dark when I got there, but the front doors hadn't opened yet. Around at the side, an alley led up to the trade entrance, next to which stood a huge, wedge-shaped character with a swarthy complexion marred by a scar down one cheek. And to make him even more Oppenheimish, he was wrapped in a black tent-sized opera cloak. I nodded politely, he spat, and I went inside. The Vale of Kashmir is a sumptuous bistro even on ordinary nights, and this night was obviously to be more than ordinary. The table across the end of the floor was banquet-sized. The place was hung with Kashmiri flags, and the picture of an old man who looked familiar was hung from the middle of one wall. The maitre d' was talking to an important-looking gent near the long table, and I walked over to him, pausing only to note one of the dancing girls practicing in a corner in her Shalimar-type costume. Felt like I was close to home.
And the curry, you understand? Not too hot, yes, Excellency. It can be as you wish. The florist will be here promptly with the flowers. I trust you will be prepared to take care of it.
Excuse me, gentlemen. My name is Spade.
Lashputsi, sir, at your service. Please, Mr. Spade, we have... No, not at all, my good man. What is it, Mr. Spade?
Are you in charge here?
I am the head waiter, sir. This gentleman is the Kashmiri proconsul. Oh, forgive me, Your Excellency, but...
yeah, sorry.
Not at all.
Do you have a dancing girl here named Shalimar?
Shalimar? No.
What? Probably use another name. How about Ahmed?
McClatchy.
Right. Where is he?
A former employee as of this afternoon is Ahmed McClatchy. Who is he? My chef. Today, of all times, he does not show up.
You know where he lives?
Oh, I can look it up, but... Please, sir, the proconsul and I, in the banquet tonight, the arrangements, the Prime Minister himself.
Sure. Just one more thing. A proconsul. Have you ever seen one of these before?
What is it?
A secret society medallion, they tell me.
Who tells you this?
Chateau Papa runs a little curio store on Grant Avenue. Know anything about it?
Secret society is right. The circle of 12. You see here? The hands point to 4.
Yes, the fourth member, this means. The hand straight up is the leader.
You seem to know what you are talking about, head waiter.
Kashmiri culture is a hobby of mine, Excellency. This is an ancient, subversive organization dating from the time of the Mughal conquest of the 16th century.
Very interesting. But of little significance now. The Circle of 12 has been dead for 3 centuries.
If you will excuse me, Excellency, I'll get for Mr. Spade Ahmed's address, and then I will...
Hold it.
Ahmed!
Just made it to the table, swept the sugar bowl off it, and followed it to the deck. When I saw the dagger in his back, I grabbed my gun and set sail for the alley, looking for the cloak that went with it, but he was gone. So was Ahmed. I bent down over him, took a closer look, and saw why he spilled the sugar. With his finger, he traced a design in it, a round design, the Circle of 12. You are listening to the weekly adventure of radio's most famous detective, Sam Spade. There's a bright newcomer to your NBC Sunday lineup starting this Sunday. It's Mr. and Mrs. Blandings. Now you can follow the further delightful adventures of the beleaguered Blandings in their famous dream house every Sunday. Starring as Mr. and Mrs. Blandings will be Cary Grant and his charming wife, Betsy Drake. Mr. and Mrs. Blandings is followed over most of these NBC stations by The Big Show. And this Sunday, hostess Tallulah Bankhead will present such bright stars as Fred Allen, Judy Holliday, Patrice Munsell, Gypsy Rose Lee, Vaughn Monroe, and many, many more. The chimes are your invitation. And now back to the Cloak and Dagger caper, tonight's adventure with Sam Spade. Well, Joanna, all the ingredients of a first-class international goulash were here. The cloak, the dagger, the man with a scar on his face, the lady with a veil over hers, and 2 corpses. By now, Dundee had completed activities with corpse number 1 at my apartment, so I hustled him down to the Vale of Cashmere and put him to work on number 2. Then I hustled back to my office. The big question had yet to be answered. Now, another.
Oh, Sam. You always have your phone. I've been trying to call you for hours.
About Ahmed McClatchy, right?
And the girl with the veil.
Shalimar.
Is that her name?
Probably not, but it doesn't matter to her now. What about Ahmed?
Oh, he was frightened out of his wits. He said somebody was going to kill him, and I told him he'd come to just the right place because you were strong and brave and
Good.
wonderful.
Good.
And he cried.
Good.
And I cried.
Good. But wait. Hold it, F.
Yes, Sam?
What happened when all the crying was over?
I sent him up to see you, Sam. I couldn't
He
call.
just told you somebody was going to kill him, that's all?
Yes, Sam.
That's why he was crying?
Oh, no, Sam, no. That's not why Ahmed was crying.
Why?
He didn't care for himself. He's a selfless, generous guy.
Angel child, who was Ahmed crying over?
The man in the paper.
What paper?
It's in all the papers, Sam. The Chronicle and the Examiner and the Call and even on the cover of Time this week. You see?
A banquet. That's whose picture it was.
Sir Jawahar Hall Bara, the Prime Minister of Kashmir. Look at the small print underneath, Sam.
On him, the hopes of Asia.
You see, that's what hurt Ahmed, Sam. Not for himself. He said they're going to kill Sir Jawahar Hall.
2 paragraphs later, my taciturn secretary let slip the information that Shalimar had arrived at the office 5 minutes after Ahmed left and departed from my home and hearth loaded for bear. The hullabaloo over you, Jawahar Hall, was due to the fact that you were at this moment arriving on the steamer Pacifica, en route to Washington with, as the article put it, the destiny of the Middle East in your briefcase. 10 minutes later, I was fighting my way through the mob at Pier 42. Not just a mob, mind you, but an assortment of bands, a Hindu delegation, the full membership of the Sanskrit Society at the University of California with a huge banner reading, Jawahar Hal, we're with you, and an override soprano on a pedestal singing, Pale Hands I Love. I struggled through this to the curb just in time to see you pull away in your special limousine, then climbed over some more backs to a phone booth.
Kashmiri Consulate. Rajput Singh speaks.
What, this is Sam Spade, Mr. Singh.
Oh, yes.
Has the Prime Minister arrived there yet?
He's due any minute. Why?
Well, you better call out the guard. They're going to try to assassinate him tonight.
My good man, do you realize
My
what...
good man, I know whereof I speak.
The cook at the restaurant. Ahmed. That is what...
Yes, you're getting the idea, all right. It's the old Circle of 12 with a brand new paint job. Now get on it. My next move may sound to you like a combination of negligence, indolence, and ennui, Joara, but I must remind you that I was not employed on this caper, was receiving no stipend for risking my ever-loving neck, and had added up the figures in the problem of primary interest to me, namely, the lady who tried to kill me on page 2. I therefore entrusted responsibility for your health and that of the Middle East to the proconsul, made my way home, put on my slippers, and set the lazy Susan on the floor this time for Freddie to play with. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Now, Zelda, my girl, he whispered, let's have the plans for that plutonium-powered rocket ship. Somehow, this all seems logical now. Never, she breathed. Rather death, Mr. G2, than to betray my country. Quiet, Freddie. Oh, no, not the buddy. Oh, no.
Mr. Spade.
Oh, hello, Proconsul.
May I?
Do.
I have taken every precaution. The Prime Minister, he's on his way to the banquet now.
Good.
There's one thing I must ask of you.
Oh?
Absolute secrecy.
Yes.
The mere knowledge of that such an organization as this...
Circle of 12?
Yes, exists would give added strength to a disloyal opposition in our country that may express itself in a manner disastrous to our purposes in sending Jawaharlal to Washington. You understand?
Well, it's taken me a while to learn the ground rules in the International League, but I get the general idea.
You have spoken of this to no one?
No? Oh, excuse me. Hello?
This is Hatudurian de Papa, sir.
Oh, yes.
It took me a great deal of long time to check my records, Mr. Spade, but I finally found it.
Oh, what's that?
The gentleman who bought the set of 12 Kashmiri medallions, like the one you saw me in my shop.
Oh, yes.
His name is Rajput Singh. A foreigner fella, I think. He's the Kashmiri proconsul here.
Oh, well, gosh, thanks, Dorothy.
This is Hatudurian de Papa, sir. I found it just now...
Look, Dorothy, after all you've done for Alice, the least she could do is thank you. And you can tell her that from me. Now, bye, honey.
So long, kiddo.
Silly kid. Silly. Let's see now, where were we?
You had just given me your assurance you would maintain strictest secrecy in this unfortunate matter.
Oh, yes, sir.
Now I must go. They're expecting me at the banquet there. Thank you again, sir.
Not at all.
Your service to our country and the world will find expression, I hope, on some later day. Good night.
Good night. Freddie, please, not now.
Down the phone.
Well, Cloak and Dagger in the flesh. Going modern on me with that gun, ain't you?
Put down the phone.
What if I told you I'd already made the call?
I'd say you were lying. The line is tapped outside.
You figure the angles, Hefty.
In my business, I have to.
When's it coming off?
For the Prime Minister, any minute. For you, right now.
Oh. He's got you fooled, too, huh?
They're right there. Who?
Rajput. You're a fall guy, you know, doing the heavy stuff. If it kicks back, you get it, and the other 10 laugh.
You think you could talk me out of it, huh?
Why, that's the last thing in my mind. I'd never... Everything happened at once. As near as I can recall, it began when Cloak and Dagger backed onto Freddie's tail. Freddie yowled, spun like a top, and C&D off balance, put his other foot on Aunt Adelaide's lazy Susan. Hardly a place for a big off-balance man to place his only remaining foot. About then, I kicked him in the stomach, grabbed at the gun, which skidded into a corner, and we went over and over for a while. C&D tore at my suit with his claws and teeth. I beat his head with an ashtray, and Freddie sat quietly in the corner and watched himself. At length, tiring of the ashtray, I beat his head on the radiator. And dear Cloak and Dagger gave it up with a long, unhappy sigh.
Spade, this is a dress-up affair.
Get out of my way, head waiter, or I'll walk right over that white shirt front.
Please, I cannot...
Have they been served anything yet?
The drinks are just coming on. Wait. And now, my countrymen, before we introduce our guest of honor, Sir Jawaharlal Bara, our beloved Prime Minister, I suggest we rise and toast our country. To Kashmir, may she...
Go ahead, Proconsul. Don't let me interrupt.
Please, not here.
The standard remark is, what is the meaning of this? Aren't you going to ask me? I'm supposed to be dead. Is that what's throwing you?
Mr. Spade, please, the toast is about to be drunk.
Where's my drink, Proconsul?
Gentlemen, there was at one time a custom in our country for the host to exchange glasses with the guests of honor. Permit me, Jawaharlal, to Kashmir.
And the moral of this story, if there is one, is when danger threatens, don't hire a bodyguard. Buy a cat and a lazy Susan. Period. End of report.
Oh, Sam. Why do people do these things?
Oh, we all have different loyalties. That's different ideas about duty.
Yes?
My duty, for instance, is to pick up a knot in my head and a suit full of holes once a week. While your duty
You don't need to draw a diagram, Sam. I can take a hint.
Scoot. Three chimes mean good times on NBC. This Sunday, Theater Guild on the Air presents a light, laughable, lovable comedy. It's The Fortune Hunter, and it stars Gene Crane and John Lund. You're invited Sunday to another outstanding one-hour production by Theater Guild on the Air. And a reminder, there's a bright newcomer to your big Sunday lineup on NBC. Mr. and Mrs. Blanding, starring Cary Grant and Betsy Drake. How can I do this?
Something wrong?
Wrong, the papers.
The plutonium-powered rocket ship?
What else? A dumper if I ever read one, F. The plans turned out sour.
Oh, what were they?
The Veil lady had entered a breakfast cereal contest. Well, that's life, little one. We struggle, we strive, we think we have success in our grasp, and it turns out dross.
Oh, that reminds me. How do you like it?
What?
My new dross.
And that concludes the dialogue for tonight. Except for one thing, of course.
Oh, I'm ready, Sam.
Who wants to be the man called X? He has a different one every week. I am the man called Spade. Constant, faithful, semper fidelis. That's me.
Good night, Mr. Fidelis.
Good night, sweetheart. The Adventures of Sam Spade are produced, edited, and directed by William Spear. Sam Spade was played by Stephen Dunn. Lorene Tuttle is Effie. Script for tonight's adventure by Harold Swanton. Musical scoring by Lud Gluskin, conducted by Robert Armbruster. Join us again next week, same time, for another adventure with Sam Spade. The Magnificent Montague next, then it's Duffy's Tavern on NBC.
The National Broadcasting Company presents The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective.
Sam Spade Detective Agency.
Me, sweetheart.
How was your vacation, Sam?
Who said it was a vacation?
Well, I thought you said you were going skiing for a weekend.
With me, F, it's always work. Do you know you can get killed on skis?
If you say so, Sam.
Yes.
Most people just break their legs.
Most people pick some easy little slope, the cowards. But I know a ski run up near a town called Lucerne that's sudden death.
I know a ski run called the Backbreaker.
Really? How dull.
And one they named Suicide Drop.
Effie, stop trying to top me. You just can't. This was the deadliest ski country ever seen. You just sit there while I do a Christiania swing down Market Street, a Gelände sprung up the stairs, and a Telmark right through the door with a tail I took out of the deep freeze only last night. The Chateau McCloud caper.
For NBC, William Spear, radio's outstanding producer-director of mystery and crime drama, brings you the greatest private detective of them all in The Adventures of Sam Spade.
Take off those skis.
I just wanted to prove I could do it. I did a herringbone up the stairs.
And those clothes. I'll just bet you rented all those things, Sam. You were never in the snow country at all.
So, you don't believe me, huh? Well, here, Doubting Effie, I brought you proof. And don't tell me I rented this.
A snowball.
Yes.
Sam! A real snowball.
Yes, I brought back 2 of them in a thermos box.
Where's the other one?
I threw it at a policeman. It was freezy, soaked with water and ice.
Oh, Sam, you're wonderful. I can't believe that you had trouble this weekend.
Oh, no? You cut that snowball open and you'll find a blood-stained bullet inside of it. And behind the bullet lies a tail. Ready?
I'm always ready, Sam.
Yes. Date, fill it M2, Sierra County Sheriff's Office, Lucerne, California. From Samuel Spade, San Francisco, license number 137596. Subject, the Chateau McCloud caper. Dear Sheriff, you run a neat little county up there at Sierra, and I hate to be snide, but when my train steamed into the cold mountain air of your lovely little village of Lucerne, I knew the chill of death was afoot. It had to be. The place was too beautiful to last. The background hills were right out of the Alps. The snow from Grandma Moses and the rustic buildings that snuggled under the mantle of white were just too cute for words. It was abnormally perfect. Something had to give. Well,
You were the only young man who got off the train. Are you from McCloud?
well, I'm supposed to find a Chateau McCloud.
Oh, what do you know? I got the right man on the first try.
Good.
Rufus sent me down to pick you up.
You could pick me up almost any time.
Well, that took a little chill off the day. Shall we go?
Ooh, mush. Mush. We glided out of the station, runners squeaking on snow, the soft pad of hooves, and the jangle of merry bells. We had a bearskin lap robe. It was a short bear, so we had to move close. Her cheeks were apple red, and her silk brown hair flowed in a spanking breeze. Oh, it was a scene that will forever be etched in my memory.
Rufus tells me you're an advertising genius.
Well, I have placed a few ads in my day, mostly help wanted.
Aha, don't kid me. He says you're going to put the McCloud canneries right on top with a new campaign.
On top.
You know, you're supposed to have a big name.
Just 8 letters, Sam Spade.
Oh? Well, I'm Rita Parker. I'm supposed to be Rufy's girlfriend. Of course, I think it's only to make his wife mad. But it's fun up here.
Yeah, but this is my first trip.
Oh, well, then you're in for a treat. That is, if abnormal psychology appeals to you.
What does that mean?
The McCloud guest register is always full of dynamite.
Oh.
For example, this weekend reads thusly. Rufus McCloud with half of the money in the world trying to get the other half.
Good.
His wife, who has an interlocutory decree.
Mrs. Interlocutor.
Yeah, Cora.
Yeah.
Her boyfriend, Paul Endicott, gigolo type. Charlie Allison, co-worker and friend to Rufus. He's a food technician or something dull. And then there's Tozier Svenborg, ski instructor, who comes down like a wolf on the fold. And people like that.
Yes, well, I'll never remember all the names. I'm in the ad game, you know. It's initials to me. I call people, RL, TS, NTG, and, you know.
Well, the names don't mean a thing. Just remember this. Every 30 seconds, duck.
I beg your pardon? The McCloud estate was 8 miles out of town, and it seemed we were there in no time at all. Rita Parker hustled the Alpine buckboard and mare into a stable while I went up to the Chateau to meet my employer, Rufus McCloud. It was more of a Swiss chalet, you know, where the second floor is larger than the first. And I guarantee that no one in Switzerland could have afforded this chalet, even with the second floor the same size as the first. I walked in and found Rufus, big and red-faced, standing in front of a fireplace that could easily have roasted a brace of oxen, rump to rump.
Of course, you're Sam Spade.
I am, Mr. McCloud.
Well, you came at an opportune time. There's no one around to overhear our conversation. I suppose you wonder why I hired a detective for a place like this.
Well, not especially. I go where the people go, and the money.
You'll be paid well for your time and trouble. I must be quick. In essence, this is my situation.
Yes.
Earlier this week, I received an anonymous letter saying that if I invited the guest list I'd planned for this weekend, there might be serious trouble. Here's the letter. Keep it to yourself. It's a Los Angeles postmark.
I see. Well, we might start by tracing down this typewriter through an L.A. detective agency.
Every one of my charming guests is from Los Angeles. One of them wrote it, if you ask me.
Very likely.
I want to know who wrote it, if I can, but more than that, I wonder what serious trouble the writer is referring to.
The girl you sent to pick me up said you had a very volatile group of people assembled.
Yeah, perhaps they're high-strung individuals, but they're civilized. I'm sure their conflict would never get beyond a cutting phrase or two, or perhaps a punch thrown here or there.
Well, then you really don't believe you'll have any trouble?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it would be advisable to have a man like yourself around.
Yes.
One who deals in trouble professionally. Perhaps if things do get out of line, you can help repair the damages or even prevent things from occurring.
Well, I'll do my best, Mr. McCloud, but it's not easy to look for something when you don't know what you're looking for.
Oh, here they come, Spade. Back from the ski runs. I told them you were handling an advertising campaign for my canneries.
They came stamping in, pulling off gloves, unzipping parkas, and if it hadn't been for the grown-up dialogue, looking all the while like a group of carefree children, it was hard to believe that the chill of death was also in them even then. I couldn't keep my eyes off one of the particular members of the group, Mossberg ski boots, Chinese vermilion downhill pants, and a candy-striped parka, which she now pulled over her lovely head. The sweater she wore underneath was, I'm sure, designed for someone much smaller. A Dachshund, perhaps?
Is this the advertising man you've been telling me about, Ruth?
Oh, Mr. Samuel Spade, my half-wife, Cora.
Well, how do you do it?
Glad you came, Sam. We can always use another sport in the crowd. Hey, everybody, shut up! Introducing the incomparable, fabulous Mr. Samuel Spade.
Hiya, Sam.
I'll give me a pass, Sam. Me, Paul Endicott, Rita Parker, Charlie Allison, Joseph Svenborg. Charlie's the one who doesn't ski.
I'll take snowshoes any day.
I can't get anywhere in snowshoes.
You've heard, perhaps, of the tortoise and the hare?
Rufus, ring for some drinks. Tom and Jerry's, hot toddies, coffee, God, something.
We're having hot buttered rum. The stuff's warming in the kitchen.
Well, get it up, get it up.
Right away, Cora.
And as for the rest of you, ready? A one, a two, a three.
What?
Oh,
yeah.
Dear old Maine, shout till the rafters ring. Stand and drink a toast once again. Let every loyal Maine man sing, oh, do-de-do-de-do. Ring to all the happy.
They took up the song with a gusto, lifting imaginary drinks into the air, and it was all very jolly. For a party that was supposed to be fraught with danger, this one certainly started out in just the opposite direction. The drinks came, and things got even merrier. Lunch was served, and afterwards I slipped into some outdoor gear and strapped on some skis. Everybody scattered different directions. Rufus McCloud and I skied to a place 3 miles away called the Halfway Cabin. Between the chateau and the cabin was a small lake called Royal Lake, completely frozen over. Rufus stood in front of the cabin, firing a .30-30 at a target set up down in the woods to the east.
What do you see through the glasses, Spade?
2 bullseyes and nothing outside of the 8 ring. That's great offhand shooting at this range and standing on skis.
Well, I can do much better than that. Watch this. See that silver tip on that big Norwegian fur over there?
Yeah?
I'll cut it off. Hey, look out! What? Well, he came swooping out of nowhere, Spade. I swear he did.
Well, I think you hit him. Who is it?
It's Paul Endicott. No, he's up.
Good.
There's Cora with him.
You told me nobody was supposed to be skiing in that area.
Yeah, they're not.
Well, here he comes, and he looks plenty mad.
What do I care about him? He's just after Cora for the money I give her, that's all.
You're going to kill me, you stupid fool.
You weren't supposed to be skiing there, Endicott, and it was an accident.
Well, that was no accident.
All right.
You keep
Knock off the
out of this.
punches.
You keep out or I'll throw one at you.
Oh, that I'd love.
Paul, now stop it. And the rest
of you, quit acting like children.
Your boyfriend threw a sucker punch at me, Cora, and even if he is my guest, there's a limit to hospitality.
I don't call one punch an even trade for a 30-30 bullet.
You aren't hit, so don't start crying.
Rufus, I have the feeling you wouldn't mind if he were hit. You wouldn't mind at all. Paul, I've just decided I don't like you without a mustache.
Well, from then on, everybody dropped the pretense, and you knew where you stood. And it was chilly, too. Later in the day, we were all back at the Chateau again, and Paul Endicott wove his delicate variation on his main theme.
I'll knock your block off.
I tell you, Mr. Endicott, you have some delusions.
I have no delusions, Tozier. I've seen the way you look at Cora, the way you two are always trying to lose me on the trails.
Some people ski faster than others.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. The next time you try to wolf this girl, it's going to be your last.
I'm nobody's wolf. I'm a ski instructor. That is what I was hired for.
Well, stick to what you were hired for and knock off the extracurricular activities.
I don't have to take this kind of talk from you.
Anything you'd like to do about it?
As a matter of fact, there is.
Fellas.
Get it.
Boys. Men.
Stop it.
Yes.
I'll never speak to either one of you again.
Sam. Yes, you want me to stop them, Mrs. McCloud?
No, I want you to take me out of here.
Oh, all right. Well,
Let's put on our skis and get out of here.
okay, here, I'll help you.
Oh, thank you. Yes, that's it, gentlemen.
Well, even so, I'll take a minute.
Ready?
Yes. Here we are. Now, where are we heading, Mrs. McCloud?
Oh, I thought we might go out to the boathouse. It's on the southern tip of Royal Lake. It's only a mile and a half.
Nothing.
And my name is Cora. I'm not really Mrs. McCloud anymore.
That's kind of rough on you, isn't it, bringing your new boyfriend around all of your ex-husband's friends?
Well, I like it up here. Rufus likes to have me. They're not all against Paul. At least they weren't. But he's on the defensive so much, he's going to make enemies of all of them.
Yes, he's off to a rousing start, I'd say.
Do you know something, Sam? I don't care about Paul Endicott, really. Or Rufus McCloud, or Tozier Spenborg, or anybody. I just care about Cora McCloud.
Well, now, that's a good, honest answer. You know, most people wouldn't be that frank.
But, Sam,
Yeah?
I haven't known you long.
Well,
I like your style.
Style?
I could care about you.
It broke my heart not to stop right there on the trail and kiss her because that's what she wanted me to do. So that's why I didn't do it. And I'll never turn down anything better. Well, next scene, a boathouse. And when we got there, it was not at all the way I thought. A food technician and close friend of Rufus McCloud was there, working on something that baffled me at first.
It's a nice boat, Mr. Spade.
That's what it is.
Belongs to Rufus.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen one up close before.
I'd take you for a ride, but this one needs a lot of work before anybody could use it. I'm just puttering. What prompted you to come out here, Cora?
Because Paul and Tozier Spenborg got in a fight over me, and I got tired of the whole thing. Sam and I went out for some air.
Oh. Well, glad you did. I was getting a bit lonesome. You see, Sam, they always leave me in a cloud of snow on their skis, and I just plod along on snowshoes all by myself.
Well, maybe we can go walking together sometime. I used to be able to shake a pretty good snowshoe.
It's a deal. Tomorrow morning, I'll show you the place.
Sam, I think I'll stick around here and help Charlie with the ice boat.
Oh.
Unless you're crazy about ice boats, why don't you go back to the Chateau? We'll be there in time for dinner.
Well, I don't need any engraved exvitation. I hope you catch a common cold. The trouble with that girl was that she only wanted one man at a time around her. Back at the Chateau, there was no one but the cook, the Marjorie Main part. Too tall. As supper time approached, Rufus came in, then Rita, then Cora, then Allison, and finally Tozier, in that order. And the order is important, because you see, nowhere in the list is the name of Paul Endicott. He didn't come in for supper, nor for the next 3 hours. It was dark by then, and Rufus McCloud was worried about Endicott. So we fanned out in a searching party. I was alone when I found him. He was lying in the snow, 300 yards west of the halfway cabin. There was a 30-30 slug in him. Period. End of Paul Endicott.
You are listening to the weekly adventure of radio's most famous detective, Sam Spade. This Sunday, Cary Grant and Betsy Drake star in the second of the new Mr. and Mrs. Blanding series over most of these NBC stations. The delightful tribulations of Jim Blandings and his wife Muriel as they built their famous dream house entertained millions as a novel and then as a motion picture. And now you can follow the further adventures of Mr. and Mrs. Blandings every Sunday on NBC. And Sunday also means your weekly visit with the hilarious Harrises on the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show. And now back to the Chateau McCloud caper, tonight's adventure with Sam Spade.
There were no ski marks near the body of Paul Endicott, just his own. Somebody had drawn a bead on him in the dust from some distance. I started to look for the rest of the searching party and then changed my mind. If the body of Endicott wasn't found, the murderer might wonder what happened to it, get worried, and make a mistake. So I picked him up, carried him to a small cave I found, covered the entrance with snow, brushed over the ski marks, and went back to the chateau. One by one, they all showed up, discouraged.
But we have to keep looking.
I know how you feel, Cora, darling. It's too dark. We'll try tomorrow.
Oh, don't worry about him. Paul can take care of himself.
How can he take care of himself, Miss Parker, if he got lost?
Who said he got lost?
I am assuming.
I think we're all assuming too much. I'm sure that it's nothing to worry about. If I know Paul, he'll show up tomorrow with some tall tale to tell. What do you think, Mr. Spade?
What does an advertising executive know?
Cora, your manners. A sponsor might be listening.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sam. I'm upset.
Okay. Frankly, I don't know what to think. But if I were a detective, I'd hazard a guess that Paul met with foul play.
Oh, nonsense, Spade, nonsense. Come on, everybody, let's have a drink and have some fun. Paul will be back, and even if he isn't, who really cares?
Scotch for me.
And I guess nobody cared. Rufus was a little more jolly than usual, and the drinks began to dispel the gloom. It was as if Paul Endicott never had existed. It began to get late, and the bizarre wake broke up. Everybody went to bed, including me. I lay there fully dressed, looking up at the beam ceiling for an hour. About then, my doorknob turned, and the door slid open and shut. Someone moved quietly to my bed as I was sliding my .38 out of its holster.
Sam, me, Rita.
Oh.
Are you awake?
Yeah, I wasn't even under the covers.
Mind if I sit down here?
Not a bit.
Sam, I'm scared. I wish I could leave here.
Oh, what's the matter?
Paul's dead. I know he is. He didn't mean anything to me one way or the other, but I know he's dead.
Anything to back up your feeling?
I guess not. It's just something I'm sure of.
Why'd you come to me?
Because you're really a detective, and I know it.
Oh, me?
Oh, now, you handled a case for my father once. You just don't remember me.
All right, I'm a detective. Rufus hired me because he expected trouble.
Sam, I'll tell you something about Paul.
Yeah?
Cora didn't really like him. They were always fighting.
She only cares about herself, so she said. Tell me, what kind of a car does Paul drive?
It's a yellow convertible, but it's still in the garage. I checked.
Any other cars missing?
No, they're all there. Oh, and I found out something else.
What?
Before supper, there was a gun missing from Rufus's gun rack. It's back now.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
That's all I know, Sam, except that Paul's dead. I know it. I wish I'd never come up here.
After she left, I dressed for outdoors and climbed through the bedroom window. It was still and quiet, and it was a quarter moon when I skied away from the chateau. I wanted to look the land over myself before the next day, when the clues, if any, were trampled into the snow. When I passed the northern tip of Royal Lake on the trail to the halfway cabin, I saw a new set of ski tracks heading into the woods where I'd found Endicott's body. I followed them, and they went right to the cave where I'd hidden him. He was gone. I was standing there, pondering this, when I thought I saw something move in the trees to the west of me. I stood stock still. That was a mistake. A bullet splintered a tree next to me, and I shoved off as fast as I could. There was no second shot. I circled around in the trees trying to catch sight of someone. Nothing. I kept in the shadows and made for the halfway cabin. It was dark and quiet, at least until I opened the door. I tried, but he had the advantage of surprise and some kind of a club. I ended up on the floor with someone sitting on my chest.
All right, I have your gun. You make one wrong move, Spade, and I'll use it.
It's got bullets in it and a hair trigger, so be careful.
We could use a little light. As you see, there's Paul Endicott's body.
Yeah. Why did you find him, Tozier? They're only putting a noose around your neck.
You're a very perceiving man, Mr. Spade. How do you figure I did it?
I talk better on my feet.
Just remember the gun.
If you didn't kill him, how else would you know where the body was?
Because I know this country like the back of my hand. He had to be somewhere. You are the killer, Mr. Spade.
Me?
Why, I do not know. You found the body before anyone else could. hid it, then clumsily tried to hide your tracks.
Don't be silly. Why would I come back?
A murderer always worries about his crime. Did you forget something? Was something left undone? It's a natural.
It sounds good, except it isn't true. You couldn't pin it on me in a month of Sundays, but somebody might just tie it onto you.
That's what you think. Do you know what I'm going to do now?
I wouldn't want to guess. The shots came pouring in through the window, and Tozier Svenborg went down. I saw the flash of the face outside and was gone. I kicked at the lamp, threw the place into darkness, and lay on the floor. Then I crawled over to Svenborg and took my gun back.
Well, that was a surprise. It hurt quite a bit.
Where'd you get it?
Oh, somewhere in the back.
Let me see. It's at the shoulder level. But he won't die anyway.
I'm afraid I misjudged you, Mr. Spade. Go after him. Go after him and catch whoever it was.
I can't leave you here.
I'll take care of myself. Just leave me your gun for protection.
No, I'll stay.
Go, please, while there's time. Or are you afraid?
I was, but I gave him my gun and left. Outside, there were many ski tracks, but a fresh set led left from the halfway cabin down. They went right to the edge of Royal Lake and then stopped. There were no marks of ski poles on the ice, so I followed the shoreline, looking for some kind of a clue. It wasn't until I reached the southern tip of Royal Lake that my effort was rewarded. Leading up from the ice were a set of footprints, then a set of ski marks. They led to the boathouse. Inside, I found two interesting items. One, a dismantled ice boat with fresh ice on the runners. Two, a pair of skis with snow in the grooves. I made my way along the beaten path back to the Chateau. Circled it once, found interesting item number 3, and went in.
Well, what were you doing up, Spade? Did you hear the shots, too?
Yeah. I thought I'd look around. Cold.
Woke me out of a sound sleep, Sam. What was it, you know?
Well, I didn't find out about the first shot, Mrs. McCloud. That was fired at me. But the next 3 were fired at a man named Tozier Svenborg.
Oh, no.
Tozier? How did it happen, Spade? What's it all about?
He found Endicott's body in the woods.
Dead?
Very.
I told you, Sam. I told you.
Told him what? What do you know about it?
Nothing. I just had the feeling, that's all.
You know something. Now tell us or I'll slap the rents right out of your head.
I don't know anything at all. I just had a feeling.
Who shot Tozier, Spade, and why?
I don't know. I was standing with him in the halfway cabin. Somebody shot through the window.
Didn't you see them? Don't you know who it was?
I was too busy ducking to look. Just answer me one thing. Have any of you been out?
Of course not.
No.
I haven't, and Mr. Allison's in bed.
Of course, they all lied. McCloud's shirt was stained with sweat. He'd been moving fast somewhere. The ski pants sticking out from under Cora's robe were wet, and Rita Parker was now dressed when she wasn't before. I was trying to figure out something to say when Charlie Allison came out from his bedroom, rubbing sleep out of his eyes and pulling a robe on.
What's going on here? What's all the excitement about?
They found Paul, dead. And somebody shot Tozier.
No. Where is Tozier?
In the halfway cabin.
Well, let's get him to a doctor.
I'll call one from town.
Why don't you go up and get Tozier? I'll have a car ready, and we'll take him right into the Lucerne Hospital.
Wait a minute. What about the murderer? Who did the shooting? Nobody's getting out of my sight. It had to be one of us.
Why, Cora?
Oh, it wasn't just anybody. We're the only ones left walking.
Why don't you ask Sam? He's the detective.
Detective?
Yes, I hired him because somebody sent me an anonymous letter saying there'd be trouble.
You knew there was going to be trouble, Rufus.
Somebody else knew.
Then why did you let people come up here?
So what's the big idea?
Wait a minute. Spade, what did you find out?
Well, if you'll all wait here a minute, I'll tell you. When I circled the chateau before I came in, I'd seen footprints leading to a window, not mine. That meant somebody else used the back way in and out, too. I wanted to find out whose window it was, and of course, while I was looking, I remember the apparently dismantled ice boat and the fact that a set of skis were in the boathouse. It took me about a minute to find the right room. But somebody knew it.
All right, Spade, stand where you are.
Allison, you might be a great food technician, but you're a lousy killer.
Yeah, well, at least he didn't get her.
Neither will you. I got him, Spade. All right, come on, stand up. Come on. You sap. Cora, huh? You think you could get her by killing somebody?
Shut up, leave me alone.
I'm sorry for you. Sorry for anyone that ever knew her. I'm sorry for myself.
She loves me, you fool.
What's the matter? I was sound asleep.
We found our killer, Mrs. McCloud.
Charlie?
Yes, baby,
Oh, Rufus, it's been a long day. I need a drink.
And that goes to show you how cold it can get in the snow country, F. Period. End of report.
Sam, why would a man do anything like that when he knew he couldn't get away with it?
Because he was stupid, Effie. People must have told him 1,000,000 times if they told him once, crime just doesn't pay.
No.
Yeah. Now, go type that up, will you? Go on, scamper.
Three chimes mean good times on NBC. Here's news of two important musical events. This Saturday, Arturo Toscanini begins a new Saturday series of concerts with the NBC Symphony. And for his premiere, the celebrated maestro Toscanini will present a special hour-and-a-half performance of Verdi's Requiem. And beginning next Monday, you can hear the first in a new series by the Boston Pops Orchestra.
All but the P.S. page, that is.
What P.S. page? Why should it need a P.S.?
Sam, you know that this report, to borrow a phrase from you, is full of holes.
My phrase? I wish I'd never said it.
Now, for instance, who sent the note to Rufus?
Paul Endicott. He expected trouble. That's why he was so belligerent to everybody.
All right.
Yes.
I'm going to come right out and ask you.
Good.
Why did Allison kill him?
Well, I thought it was rather obvious, Effie. Cora was leaving Rufus McCloud for Allison, but because Allison worked for McCloud until Cora's divorce was final, they didn't want Rufus to know about it. So they used Paul Endicott as a decoy love affair.
But I'll bet Endicott didn't want to get Cora up. I'll bet that was it, Sam.
Effie, I don't know how you ever guessed. Endicott saw in it a chance to pick up a buck with a little blackmail.
It's just a wild guess, Sam.
Yes.
And, of course, Allison did ski, didn't he?
What do you think?
Well, how else could he get around so fast? And he made such a point about those snowshoes. Sam?
Yes?
If I'd written the caper, I'd have covered that up a little.
Come here.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sam. I guess I shouldn't have said that.
You certainly should not have. You know there's only one thing around here you're supposed to say.
Yes, Sam, I know. What is that?
Make it fast.
Good night, Sam.
Good night, sweetheart.
The Adventures of Sam Spade are produced, edited, and directed by William Spear. Sam Spade was played by Stephen Dunn. Lorene Tuttle is Effie. Script for tonight's adventure by John Michael Hayes. Musical scoring by Lud Gluskin, conducted by Robert Armbruster. Join us again next week, same time, for another adventure with Sam Spade. Do you keep an appointment book? In 1950, 30,000 people kept an appointment they hadn't bargained for with infantile paralysis. And 4 out of 5 of these were helped with March of Dimes money. We must go on helping, yet we also must be prepared for what may come in this year. March of Dimes is your way of fighting infantile paralysis. Give all you can to your local March of Dimes headquarters. Join the 1951 March of Dimes today. The Magnificent Montague next, then it's Duffy's Tavern on NBC.
The National Broadcasting Company presents The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective.
Sam Spade, Detective Agency?
Me, sweetheart.
Sam! Do you know you're on all the papers?
Don't think I'm happy about it.
You were standing on the sidewalk pointing,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a dotted line running from you to X where they found the body.
You mean where they found the last body, F? There were several before it.
I know. All those poor, poor people.
Tell me, Effie, how many dots were there running from me to where they found the body?
Oh, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 6, 12, Sam.
That's what I expected.
What does it stand for?
For 1, 2, 3, 6, 12. That's it.
Oh, no, not really.
But definitely. We just got in on a big finish. This is a tale of deceit and intrigue that's strung through many islands and several countries. Yea, through a great many lives. So I am left with no choice but to call it the String of Death Paper. For NBC, William Spear, radio's outstanding producer-director of mystery and crime drama, brings you the greatest private detective of them all in The Adventures of Sam Spade. Effie!
Sam!
Don't shout.
How are you, Sam?
Oh, I'm all right, I guess.
Oh, let me look at you.
Yeah.
Sam, you need a rest. You've been staying up too many nights.
And going around with the wrong people. You don't have to tell me.
Well,
I have only this to say. If the people I've been going around with lately won't be going around anymore, so don't worry about me.
all right, Sam, if you say so. But you look so terrible. Your eyes are bloodshot.
Aren't everybody?
And your hands are shaking.
True, Effie, and here's why. Take it down. You ready?
Well, don't make it too gory, Sam.
Effie, I am not going to pull any punches. You'll have to take it as it came, the way I did. Date, fill it in. To Lieutenant R.C. Kelsey, Homicide, Detail, San Francisco Police, from Samuel Spade, license number 137596. Subject, the String of Death Caper. Dear Kelsey, it's hard to believe that the events of the past 48 hours all began with the discovery of the oyster, but they did, and they made a marked change in the census figures of several countries. The whole thing was incredible. The most incredible part of it was that I was careless enough to let myself get mixed up in it. The entire Seamy saga began 2 days ago when my door opened and a woman walked in. Showgirl, size 7B, tight black skirt, too tight blouse, red alligator shoes, hair overdone in somebody's peroxide oven, you know, that kind of stuff. She chewed gum, of course, and swung a black patent leather handbag. And her charm bracelet was so loaded, I wondered if she could lift her arm.
Let's face it, I'm stranded.
Really? Where?
Where'd you think? Here, right in this town.
Well, my sympathies. Won't you sit down?
Thanks. You're a gentleman.
Not even so.
The next time I take a job somewhere, I'm going to carry a ticket back to where I came from and a 6-day supply of K-rations.
Well, would you care to tell me about it?
I was doing an act at the Gay Paris when the blow fell.
Yeah?
They had a big floor show trying to boost business, but it didn't boost, it busted.
Oh.
The place was padlocked. Likewise, the owner's pocketbook. We were out 2 weeks' salary.
We?
I was the Olga half of the dance team of Ricardo and Olga.
And then?
Ricardo, the creep, must have been tipped off, because the night we closed, at the end of his first number, he danced off the floor, out through the stage entrance, and was never heard from again.
Well, I always say we're better off without those kind of people around anyway.
Not when he buffaloes out with all your savings.
I hate him already.
Well, I sent a wire to my booking agent for help, and his answer came back something like this. Here, they're starving in the street. At least you got a hotel room to do it in.
Pardon?
Well,
Oh, those agents are a shifty lot. They only like you when you're with them.
You're telling me. My rent's up at the end of the week, and after that, who knows?
Well, now, madam, your story has touched me very deeply. Would it spoil your timing any if I asked you why you came to see me?
Hey, you know, you got a style there. It's unique.
It's widely copied.
Now, don't flash too much of that repartee and make me forget what I came here for.
Just unburden yourself, Olga. No more repartee.
The name's Kelly. Kelly Green.
Oh.
Wouldn't be seen on the street as Olga.
Pardon, my mistake.
Yeah. I came to ask you to find a guy named Captain Eric Noston. He's somewheres in San Francisco.
An army man?
He bought that title in a saloon in Tahiti. He's a beachcomber. Tell him Kelly's got some information she wants to sell. You can reach me at the Embassy Hotel, 627. See you later, Sam.
Just a minute, Kelly.
Yeah?
I hate to mention this to someone in your position, but there's a fee for my services.
Oh, I'll tell you. The kind of information I got he wants real bad. Well, Chateau.
Clearing everything off my desk, 2 shoes with feet in them, mine, I embarked on this dangerous assignment, if Brian Donlevy will pardon the expression. You know, I am not without sources of waterfront information, and in a couple of hours I found myself in a bistro called the Backwash, a place that hangs so precariously on the west bank of a bay that flies come to study it.
Hello, Sammy. How are you?
Hello, Eddie. What's a good word?
Well, Sammy, I know what I hear, but what I hear sometimes ain't the truth, or am I too quick for you?
Give me a for instance.
Well, the guy you called about is sitting down at the far end of this very same bar. At least he calls himself Captain Eric Noston. This is what I hear from my side of the bar. But whether he is or not what he says he is only something that can be verified by investigation. Or am I too quick for you?
I'll have another pint of beer, bartender.
Let me buy it.
Sir, you can find me drinks all night.
But don't make the mistake of trying to get me drunk.
Make it 2, will you, Eddie?
Hi, Sam.
Sam, that means he knows you. You're okay by the house. Well, then you're okay by Captain Mastron. There you are, 2 beers. What's the rest of it, Sam? Spade. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you something about you, Sam Spade. You didn't come here to drink with me. You came to talk. Now, shall we go over in a booth?
That's a good idea.
Right. Yeah. Now I'm ready to listen.
Do you know Kelly Green?
Kelly? The dancer?
Yeah.
Why, every blasted sailor in the Orient knows Kelly. Let me see now. The last time I remember her, she was dancing on a table in Singapore for some Dutch officer.
Yeah, she's in town right now. She said she has some information you want to buy.
I'll bet she has. You a friend of hers?
Since this morning.
Oh, that's long enough for me. Now, what are you? Private detective?
I am, and that brings up one other point. She said you would pay me for finding her.
Oh, surely. What's your fee?
25.
Yours 50.
No. Look,
oh, take it now. As far as I'm concerned, you've earned it. Oh, yeah. What's her address?
Embassy Hotel, room 627.
Well, I'll get in touch with her.
Well, see you around.
Hey, wait a minute, Spade. How would you like to find someone for me?
Why not? Who are you looking for?
A man named Chan Lee. I suppose I'll tell you the old story now. You take a look at these. Look here. Feast your eyes.
He took a swatch of velvet cloth out of a sea jacket pocket and opened it. On it were 6 very large, very breathtaking, rose-colored pearls. Nostrum's eyes flicked over each pearl as if he knew it by name and lineage. He let me stare at them for several silent minutes before he spoke again.
See such timeless beauty captured in 6 perfect spheres?
I haven't seen many like those.
And there aren't many. 12, to be exact. 12 in all the world.
Now, what are pearls like that worth?
Well, any jeweler in the city would give you $5,000 a pearl for them. But if I had all 12, I could sell the set for $75,000.
How'd you get half of the 12 pearls, Nostrum?
You ever hear of the Toy oyster banks off the Borneo Islands?
No, I haven't been pearling lately.
Well, I have.
Well, is that where these came from?
That's right, from the Toy banks. A friend of mine named Joro, named Hong Kong Harry, tipped me off that 12 perfectly matched rose-colored pearls could be picked up at Chagian-Sulo from a wholesale buyer called Dong Se Mao.
Well, which is it?
I shipped over on a ketch with 2 other men. Dong Se Mao asked 12,000 pesos for the lot, and I took them. But then, when we left Chagian-Sulo, I got caught in a storm and I went overboard. But I didn't fall accidentally, no. I was hit on the head and thrown overboard.
Your buddies wanted the pearl.
They got 6 of them in my sea bag. The other 6 were sewn inside my belt. I still have those. Well, I traced those 2 guys all over the Orient. But both of them was killed. The Morrow curse, they say. So far, 8 people have died over these pearls.
The Morrow curse?
Corny, isn't it? Yes. Anyway, the rumor is that the other 6 pearls have found their way to San Francisco, and that a man named Chan Lee knows about them. I've been here 48 hours, and I haven't found him.
Well, what do you plan to do when you find him?
Don't you worry, Spade. I have a buyer. I'll pay cash for him.
All right, I'll give you $50 worth of looking for Chan Lee. Now, where can I get in touch with him?
Are you in the book?
Yeah.
Then I'll find you. Just one thing, Spade. If Kelly liked you, you must be straight. Here, take a pearl.
Now, wait a minute, Master. You just said each one of these pearls is worth $5,000.
$7,500 to me, but I want to play it this way. Now, if you find Chan Lee, you ask him if he knows me, and ask him if he knows about the pearls. Now, maybe he won't talk to you, so if he doesn't, just show him the pearl, and then walk out. He'll fall all over himself to find me.
Well, you know best. I assume no responsibility for this pearl, right?
I can handle the responsibility for both of us.
Harry Ching, a friend of mine who has his ear to the Oriental ground, put down his mother tongue edition of that great Chinese detective, Shylock Ho, and directed me to a little food store just off Grand Street. There were a number of people in the store looking at merchandise. My man was small and fat and behind the counter.
Good afternoon. May I assist you?
Chan Lee?
Oh, no. My name is Nguyen.
Harry Ching told me Chan Lee would be here.
Before my name Nguyen, my name Chan Lee. The personal reason for change, you understand?
Not fully, no, but I'm not here to inquire about that. Sonny, do you know a man named Captain Eric Nostrum?
No. Never hear a name Captain Nostrum.
Was he big, red-pointed, beard, rough? Registered?
Sorry, no.
Ever hear of the rose-colored pearls of Powhatan?
You joke. Why you talk fair with me again? I be your Chinese food, not really.
Well, I might have the wrong Chinese, but do you know anything about pearls?
Oh, I can tell good pearl from bad pearl. My uncle wants pearl Frida.
And take a look at this.
Let me see.
Now, don't put it in your mouth.
I just did it to test skin. Oh, yeah. Sure, you joke with me.
Joke about what? I know where 5 more are just like that, worth $5,000 a piece.
Somebody pull your leg. This pearl, Japanese culture pearl, artificially colored, worth maybe $5.
Really?
Yeah, next time, don't play joke on Chinese.
Blew you in.
Oh, yes. Got me bored.
A skeptic, I took the pearl to a jeweler I know, and he told me Shanley lied in his straggly beard. It was the finest specimen of rose pearl he'd ever seen. Well, I went back to my office to wait for Nostrand's call when and if it came. I say I went back to my office, but not directly in, because just as I was putting the key in my lock, something familiar pushed in between my shoulder blades.
Mr. Spade, I know all the tricks, so don't try any. Just open the door and go in.
You bet.
Now sit down at your desk and put your hands on top of it.
Yeah, you were looking at the tea in Shanley's store, weren't you?
I was. And I want the pearl you have.
Me?
You.
All right, if you're going to make a scene, suppose you give me something.
I don't have to give you anything. That pearl belongs to me. It was stolen from me, along with all the others.
By Eric Nostrand.
Right. Bought those pearls from Tung Semao in Cagayan Sulu. Nostrand was crew on my catch, and on the way back to Shanghai, he threw me overboard so he could have the pearls himself.
Well, didn't you drown, Mr.
Ivan T. Sanderson.
Oh.
Some Jap fisherman picked me up.
Good.
This is the first of the 12 rose-colored pearls I've gotten back, and I mean to get the other 11. Even if it takes a few dead bodies to accomplish it.
Well, I admire your spirit, sir, but I'm afraid you've picked out a tough career.
Where's Nostrand?
I don't know.
You must know you're working for him.
Look, he said he'd contact me. Honest,
How did you get tied up with him?
A girl named Kelly Green hired me to find her.
Call her.
All right.
And ask her where Nostrand is.
All right, I will. But don't point him. Not polite. Yes, huh?
Embassy Hotel.
Oh, 627, please.
Whom are you calling, please?
Miss Kelly Green.
Hello?
Kelly?
Yeah?
Sam Spade.
Yeah?
Did Captain Nostrand get in touch with you?
No. Did you find him, Sam?
I did.
Well, he hasn't come up here yet. Not yet, Sam. Thanks for calling. Goodbye.
She hasn't seen him yet.
Thank you, Mr. Spade. I'll be checking with you from time to time.
He pocketed his gun and stalked out with a $5,000 pearl in his hand. I knew he had heard the operator say Embassy Hotel, and I knew he heard Kelly Green's room number. So I let him get a small head start. He went directly to the Embassy Hotel. I followed him into the lobby. He got the one elevator, and I had to wait until it went up and came down before I got it. When I arrived at the 6th floor, the door of 627 was slightly open, and there was a sharp odor in the air. Ivan T. Sanderson wasn't there. Neither was Kelly Green. But dragging himself across the floor, trying to reach the door, was Captain Eric Nostrand. He had 2 bullet holes in his back. I tried to help him, but it was beyond help. He collapsed, dead. As his body relaxed, his mouth slowly opened, and 5 rose-colored pearls rolled out. You're listening to the weekly adventure of radio's most famous detective, Sam Spade. Three chimes mean good times on NBC. There's music and mystery with the chimes every Saturday. Tomorrow evening for mystery, Herbert Marshall stars as the man called X. In all the strange and far-off corners of the world, wherever there is intrigue, danger, and romance, there you will find the man called X. For music, there's your hit parade with the top tunes in the land as selected by you and brought to you by Snooky Lanson, Eileen Wilson, and the Hit Paraders. Last week, Tennessee Waltz and My Heart Cries for You were the top tunes across the country. Will they topple? Well, you'll have the answer tomorrow on Your Hit Parade. And now back to the String of Death caper, tonight's adventure with Sam Spade. after I found Nosson's body, I called you, Lieutenant Kelsey, and told you as little as I could. After that, I went out to dinner and then home to bed. This hiatus was necessary in order to let the pot of vicious intrigue bubble a little. Well, the next morning, at considerable expense, we added a new character to our play, which was already an extravaganza.
Good morning.
Well, good morning.
I am not sure, monsieur, whether I am going to kill you or let you live.
A very effective entrance, sir. And who are you?
Jacques Malraux.
Aha! Of the Malraux curse.
The same, monsieur. It was reported in the paper that you found the body of Captain Eric Nostrand in the apartment of a girl named Kelly Green.
Well, I'm afraid I just happened to be there.
Did you happen to know if anyone found a number of pearls on Nostrand's body?
Well, as far as I know, they didn't. You mean the Powhatawi pearls, don't you?
Aha. You know about them?
A little, yeah. They belonged to a man named Tung Se Mao, who stole them to a man named Ivan Sanderson, who had them stolen from him by Captain Nostrand, who had half of his stolen from him. That's the installment I just read, anyway.
Perhaps it is mostly right, except for one important point. Tung Se Mao was holding them for me. They were not brought. They were taken from him at the point of a gun.
Getting involved.
I risked my life in the shark-infested waters of Chateau diving for those pearls. No man but me will possess them. Now, where to find Kelly Green and Ivan Sanderson?
I don't know. The police don't know, so I can't tell you.
Aha. All right, Mr. Spade. You have an honest face, I believe you. Oh. But if it turns out later that you have deceived me, you will find to your regret that Jacques Malraux is not an easy man to do business with. Au revoir.
Following his exit, I allowed a pause for dramatic effect, and then dissolved into the next scene. On the front door of Chanley's grocery store, there was a sign, closed for the day, so I went around the block, through an alley, and came up on his living quarters from the back way. I stood at the back door and knew somebody was home listening to some Oriental arty Shaw. I tried the doorknob, it turned, and I carefully opened the door and stepped in.
What you do in my house?
Well,
what like you come in private house?
Well, turn that thing off and I'll tell you.
All right, get out or I call police.
Son, I didn't come here to quibble with you. I came to speak right from the shoulder.
What you talk about?
The Powhatawi pearl.
I don't know pearl. Get out.
You know Nostrand was killed yesterday, don't you?
I tell you before, I know no man named Nostrand.
All right, where's Sanderson?
What man?
The tall man with the clipped mustache who was in your store yesterday when I was there.
So plenty people come my store. I not know them all by name. Come to anybody. Plenty mustache.
All right. Play it your way for
Yeah.
now. But if you ever do meet up with Sanderson, just tell him that I have the other 5 pearls. The ones Nostrand was killed for. Just as I closed the door behind me, I saw a pair of red alligator shoes with a pair of nylons draped over them pushed under a chair. I hesitated a minute, thought better, and hurried away. I went back to my office, pulled out a good book, and read for 3 hours. It paid off.
Sam, I had to come to you. I'm in an awful jam.
I should say you are. And it won't get you any easier when I call the police.
I knew Eric was found in my apartment, but I didn't have anything to do with it.
Nuts. I called you from here not 10 minutes before Nostrand was found dead.
All right. He was there, but he wanted me to say he wasn't.
You want me to tell you something else about yourself? I checked with the Embassy Hotel. Your bill was paid for a month in advance. You weren't stranded. It was a murder setup from beginning to end. But I can't understand your being dumb enough to use your real name.
He wasn't supposed to have been killed there. It was supposed to happen someplace else.
That's what I thought.
Oh, don't do it, Sam. I came here to tell you the truth. I need your help.
I can't help you now, Kelly.
He made me do it. He made me come to San Francisco, wait for Nostrand, and then find him.
Who made you? Sanderson?
No. Chan Lee. He killed Nostrand. He shot him. But we heard somebody at the door and went out for fire escape before we could search Nostrand.
What do you mean he made you do it?
Look at this. That arm isn't pretty, is it? There must be 1,000 holes in it.
When did you start this?
In Singapore. Chan used to be there and he supplied me. I had to follow him here because I didn't have enough money to buy it.
I see. Well, Kelly, I'm sorry. Maybe the state will take that into consideration.
Sam, I want to go into partnership with you.
Partnership? Doing what?
Selling pearls. You have 5 of them. I have 6 of them. Here.
Where'd you get these?
From Chan. I heard you there. After you left, he got excited and had to take something to quiet himself down. I grabbed these and beat it while he was still under. What do you say, Sam? Let's sell them and go someplace.
Well, it might be arranged. Where's Sanderson?
Ivan Sanderson?
Yeah.
He lives on a boat. It's a yawl, a trader anchored at Pier 32. Ah, don't worry about him, Sam. You can take care of him.
I probably can. Did you ever hear of a guy named Jacques Marot?
Marot? Jacques Marot?
Yeah.
Was he in San Francisco?
He was in here yesterday looking for you and Sanderson.
Sam, the deal's off. I don't want to have anything to do with it. Here, keep the pearls.
I picked up the 6 pearls and put them in my office safe with the other 5 I'd taken from Nostrum. Then I went down to the waterfront looking for Sanderson. Chun Li was still under drugs. There'd be no problem for the police to pick up. Nor would Kelly Green once her drug supply began to give out. The trader was a trim, white yawl tied up at Pier 32 with a Jacob ladder running down to its deck. I climbed down and, looking around, found Sanderson in a cabin sitting behind the table. It wasn't a commonplace thing. You see, he'd just been shot.
You can't do anything for me, Sam. There's nothing to do.
How did it happen, Sam?
Marot curse.
Jacques Marot.
Yes. He made a vow that he was going to kill anyone who touched the pearl. Anyone.
Did he get your pearl?
Yes. Who has the rest?
I do, 11 of them.
When tomorrow finds out, I wonder how you're going to feel. Dying. 11.
That's when I turned the whole thing over to you, Kelsey. I went back to my office, put in a call to your office, and gave you a complete rundown on the case from beginning to end. Who did what and how you might go about finding them. You said you'd be right over to pick up the pearls, but you got there a little late. I had no sooner put down the phone when...
All right. You have a pearl. Give them to Chubb, or he will not hesitate to shoot you.
The way you did Nostrum?
I don't have time for talk. Hurry, get pearl.
Okay. They're in my safe here. I don't think I'm going to give you any argument or pull anything clever.
It would be too bad if you did.
I don't really know who these pearls do belong to, and I don't care much anymore. You can have the worries instead of me.
I would be glad to worry about such a treasure.
There you are.
Stay where you are. Throw them to me.
Catch.
Thank you. Now I will go. I advise you against raising outcry.
I'm glad to get rid of you. Go and have a long and happy life.
Oh, I have been hand-picked by the guard.
He was, but for a different reason. He put the pearls in his pocket, and with a little smile of triumph at how easy it had been, he turned and quickly walked out of the office. He even closed the door politely. But outside, he didn't get far. I ran for the hall, firing my .38 out of the holster. Chun Li lay still on the floor, and his coat pocket had been turned inside out. Steps were pounding down the stairwell, and I followed. When I hit the sidewalk, he was half a block away and running. I fired at him, and he stopped and fired back. My second one caught him in the chest, and he fell twisting across the sidewalk. I walked right up to him, but it was all over. Jacques Marot was dead. And one by one, 12 of the most beautiful rose-colored pearls in the world were dropping out of his hand, rolling down the gutter and plopping into the sewer, where they belong. Period. End of string.
Sam, did they all go down the sewer?
Every pearl, Effie. Who knows where they might be now?
Maybe at the feathering plant.
Maybe out to sea.
Sam, can I get off early tonight?
Effie, put that thought out of your mind. They're not worth it.
Oh, but Sam, all that work.
I said forget it. I'll go type that up.
Oh.
Go on, scoot.
Three chimes mean good times on NBC. There's music and fun in the air tomorrow evening, styled to suit your Saturday night of merriment. Dennis Day brings you songs and comedy in his charming, boyish manner, and then Judy Canova gets together with her frolicsome friends for Mountain Melody and Mayhem, followed by Grand Ole Opry with singing MC Red Foley and his gang. It's a Saturday night of fun designed for you.
Oh, Sam, those pearls. I'd give anything just to wear them one night.
Anything?
Well, I suppose it isn't worth it.
But someday, somehow, I want to wear expensive jewelry.
Effie, I'd rather see you with a sparkling light in your eye any day. Looks much better on you.
And of course it's cheaper.
Effie, is that a slur on my character?
Oh, I don't get paid too much. Or too often.
All right, let's settle this thing right here. You say you want some pearls?
Oh, I'd love some.
Well, here you are. 6 oysters. 3 boys and 3 girls. You can grow your own at home.
Sam, are those really oysters?
They are, indeed. I picked them up at Fisherman's Wharf just this afternoon.
What do I do?
Well, I'll make it easier for you. I also bought a bottle of cocktail sauce. So which will it be, pearls or oysters on the half shell?
Oh, Sam, you're so different. Let's eat them.
Not until you say...
Good night.
Good night, sweetheart. The Adventures of Sam Spade are produced, edited, and directed by William Spear. Sam Spade was played by Stephen Dunn. Lorene Tuttle is Effie. Script for tonight's adventure by John Michael Hayes. Musical scoring by Lud Gluskin, conducted by Robert Armbruster. Join us again next week, same time, for another adventure with Sam Spade. Now the Magnificent Montague, then it's Duffy's Tavern on NBC.
The National Broadcasting Company presents The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective.
Sam Spade Detective Agency.
Me, sweetheart.
Sam, a man named $5 Frankie called up and said he's putting $2 in your name on a sure thing at some track or other.
Well, that's nice to hear.
I don't think it is at all. You know I don't approve of your gambling, Sam.
Effie, you do some things I disapprove of, but do I snipe at you?
Well, no, but...
No buts about it. And besides, I didn't place the bet. It was placed for me.
I don't care. It's the principle of the thing I don't like.
Well, suppose I put it this way, Effie. That $2 bet on a sure thing was more than just a money bet. It was a gamble on the inherent goodness of the human soul.
Oh, Sam, you're just trying to confuse me.
I am, but I'll straighten everything out to your satisfaction, I trust, when I appear at the office with a highly stylized and rather charming saga of horse players and the world they live in. What else but the sure thing caper?
For NBC, William Spear, radio's outstanding producer, director of mystery and crime drama, brings you the greatest private detective of them all in The Adventures of Sam Spade.
Yes, and I hope you always are at the wages I pay you.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, Sam.
When I pay them.
I don't want to start an argument, but I do need some new clothes.
Oh?
You want me to put up a good front, don't you?
I will rephrase my answer. Yes.
Well?
Effie, if you can hold Warp and Wolf together for a few weeks, I have a feeling we'll be rolling in dough, driving big cars and wearing mink.
Oh, you mean that there. All conjecture.
Enough of your sneering. Now, you hear me out. Weigh the evidence, and maybe you'll feel differently.
I doubt it. No good comes of playing the horses.
Dates, fill it in. 2 $5 Frankie, care of...
Sam, wait a minute now. $5 Frankie what? What's his last name?
I don't think he has one, F. As I get it, he was born just before a Gold Cup handicap at Pimlico, and they didn't have time to give him a last name and place a bet, too. So they chose the bet.
Oh, Sam, that's awful.
What do you mean, awful? That horse paid 18 to 1. Well, to get on, 2 $5 Frankie, care of Patterson Smoke Shop, Myrtle Street City, from Samuel Sucker Spade, San Francisco, license number 1375596. Subject, the sure thing caper. Dear $5 Frankie, for you to be seen at the hour of 1 p.m. post time anywhere but at the track is truly a veritable, unbelievable occurrence. So when my door pivoted open Monday at said hour and a short gent with 36 shoulders and a 44 long plaid coat came in, my eyes told me it was you, but my mind screamed no. I checked your wide-brimmed pork pie, your Zoot gabardine slacks, suede and alligator wing-tipped shoes, and it still repeated you.
Sammy, do not look as if you have just lamped the ghost. It is I,
$5 Frankie.
But at this hour, Frankie, what is it? Your watch broken? Did you lose your way? You sleepwalking? What?
No, Sam. I am in complete possession of my faculties.
Good.
And I came here with the full knowledge of my intellect.
Uh-huh.
I even see through the crystal of my timepiece that it is 1 o'clock, the hour from which they break from the barrier.
That's right.
But I have not been drinking, and as for sleepwalking, that is strictly for gents with unhappy marital relationships.
All right, Frankie, I'm forced to agree with you that you were standing in front of me instead of the $5 window. Now, what's the dope?
Well, ordinarily, I do not resort to hiring a strong arm to consummate my business dealings.
Naturally.
There being a full supply of such muscles lying around the back room of Patterson's smoke shop.
Loose?
But when the job calls for both tact and muscle, I am forced to roam far abroad in search of the same.
You mean you have a job for me? A real honest-to-seabiscuit job that'll pay money?
With the ordinary Seamus, I might try to offer a little paddock chatter, you know?
Yes.
But with you, Sammy, with you, I will tender coin of the realm.
Good.
I will pay you, of course, in $5 bills, as is my wont.
In advance?
10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 10 times 5.
Figures.
Now, do you veritably consider yourself in my employ?
I am veritably in the race, Frankie.
Good. Now, Sammy, leave it to be understood by both parties that I am not touting you off on any sour deals.
Uh-huh.
A rather curious situation has arisen, and I will explain it to you candidly, as they say in certain novels which I have not read.
Well, most novels lose so much in the translation.
True.
Yeah.
My narrative begins yesterday, to be exact.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, their heels and toes into the back room of Patterson's smoke shop, a gent whose face was once as familiar to me as my own.
By name, said gent?
They call him Gentle Joe Higgins.
Gentle Joe.
Yeah, a horse trainer by profession, which in our civilized society stands second only to jockeys in importance.
Granted, no argument.
Well, I say to Gentle Joe, it has been some time, Gentle Joe, since I see you around and about.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I have gave up the old life for the new, as I no longer am welcome at the track since a certain embarrassing incident 5 years ago.
What incident was that, Frankie?
A horse doping job, the illegal type,
Oh.
which depresses me to relate. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I will not.
Ethics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Gentle Joe looks a little worse for the wear, his clothing being literally shabby.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I figure a touch. And I am preparing a story that will wring tears from a tax collector even. But Gentle Joe does not mention the word touch.
Uh-huh.
Oh. Instead, he announces he has a sure thing. Sammy, you know how those words do to a horse player.
It's like throwing a bale of catnip to a lion.
Oh, my arteries open to let the blood through faster. My nerves give off loud ringing noises, and my mind is already computing.
Of course.
Well, before I can stop myself, I have pressed 500 rocks in Gentle Joe's hand, begging him to place them on the same sure thing.
I'd have done the same thing under the circumstances.
Of course. But Gentle Joe says it will take at least 1,500 rocks to pull off the deal.
Oh.
He further advises me that the horse in question is due to return 20 rocks to 1.
So you gave him the other 1,000?
Well, not having it in my genes at the time, I cut 2 other business and professional friends in on the grading. Dinosaur Torelli and Bones Moulton, 5 bills apiece.
And then?
Gentle Joe rushes out of Patterson's and...
Has never been heard from again.
A sad tale.
You think he just stole the money?
Sam, Gentle Joe Higgins is a horse player, not a common sneak thief.
I'm sorry. But did he leave town?
He did not. On the advice of certain informers, I tracked this Gentle Joe to a ramble-shackle rooming house on Cloud Street. 241 to be exact.
And?
And there the trail gets very cold indeed.
He's made his move, huh?
No. But he had a landlady who would not let me in.
Complicated.
Oh, she is a frightening person to behold. She is indeed half wildcat and half witch.
I'll deal with her.
Good. And tell Gentle Joe that I am not an overly suspicious person, but also relate to him my position. Dinosaur Torelli and Bones Moulton are 2 such gents as it is wise not to cross.
Rough.
Back fence gossip has it they are the Undertaker's best friends.
Well.
Indeed, it is also rumored they are behind their quota for the month. Well, and Sam.
Yeah?
At Bay Meadows.
Yeah?
A bad card. Nothing going today.
In preparation for my meeting with this redoubtable landlady, I ran through my repertoire of low, mean faces in front of the mirror, leaving smoking holes in the glass. And then I stamped out, heading for the rooming house on Clark Street, 241 to be exact. My knock was answered by... Well, it was even worse than you told me. She was gumming a sen-sen.
What are you standing there for? You're shaking my geraniums.
Oh, no. Well, sir?
Speak up, Curly. I ain't got all day.
Madam, perchance do you house in this quaint colonial inn a fine old gentleman called Gentle Joe Higgins?
You the Lord?
No, I'm in business for myself. You see this?
Oh, one thing I hate worse than the law is private detectives. Can't trust them. No. Cheap. Never have any money.
Look.
Never want to pay anything.
Look.
Always want something for nothing. A surly, no good lot of pocket pickers who should all be boiled in oil and thrown in a pit full of snarling
One
beast
moment,
prey.
Madam, look at this.
Ooh,
Yeah.
well. That's the kind of crinkling I'd like to hear.
I thought you would.
Wouldn't mind having a mattress stuffed full of that green paper.
It is a pleasure, distinctly, to be able to present it to such a charming, witty, and gay woman, I guess, as yourself. Now,
Come in, Bright Eyes.
Yes. Now, where did you say Gentle Joe could be located?
Second door to the left.
Thank you, kindly.
Only he ain't in. Gone out somewhere, he has.
Your timing, madam, and I should add Defarge, was a little sadistic. Now, give me my $5 back.
You ain't heard my proposition yet.
I've heard enough. Madam, you have acted in a very hateful manner.
Another $5. I'll let you wait in this room.
Madam, you are a Dresden doll. No matter what anybody says.
Can the tally wave you lost and let's go. Let's have a ball.
Once in Gentle Joe's room, I closed the door, thus separating myself from that Skid Row bankhead. While I was waiting, I cased the room. Spartan. A bed, a chair, a dresser, a racing form, some worn clothes, various mementos, and pictures of his better days at the track. I was studying an old print of Equipoise when Gentle Joe turned up.
Yes, she was a great stretch runner, wasn't she? Yes, indeed. A mile and 141 and fifth, and hardly damp at the end.
Well, yes.
Now, don't look upset, Mr. Spade. Fanny told me that you were a detective waiting for her.
Oh, she's a swell kid.
Yeah, Fanny's impetuous, but a good sort, yeah. Keeps the right people out and lets the wrong ones in. Fine judge of character.
No, you're generous, sir.
I'm about to have a cup of tea. Will you join me?
Be delighted.
I'll just take the water out of the tap. It's hot enough.
Well, Gentle Joe, I'm here on a rather painful mission.
How in goes the tea?
$5 Frankie thinks you caged him out of $1,500.
And now for the water.
And two tough friends of his are looking for your scalp.
Yeah, there we are. Now we'll just let that steep a while, and we'll have us a pickup.
Did you hear anything I said?
Of course, Mr. Spade, of course. Every word. I know why you're here. Those men are worried about their money. But next time you see them, you tell them not to worry.
Well, they said this sure thing of yours was going to return 20 to 1 odds. That's a lot of money.
Oh, it will. All of that. Maybe even many times more. Yes, it's a sure thing.
You mean the race hasn't been run off yet?
Yeah, there we are now. I think the tea should be ready.
Well.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is yours.
Thank you.
And this is mine. A Darjeeling flowering pekoe. There's no finer tea.
Has an almond flavor.
Yes, it's peculiar to the region, especially pronounced in last year's crop.
Yes. Well, shall we get back to business?
Yes. Now, you tell those gentlemen that they have no need to fret about their money. It'll be returned to them many times over. Many times over. Well, are you feeling all right, Mr. Spade?
Groggy,
They'll look back on this investment with considerable pleasure and pride.
I don't know what
And someday they'll be able to say that they, too...
Stupid Sam. Nobody had to give me a saliva test to guess what happened. That nice, sweet, gentle old man had doped me right up to the ears. I tried to stand up, and my legs were like two wet pieces of spaghetti, and I went down. Gentle Joe went right on talking and smiling until everything was nothing. When I came to, Joe was gone, and so was my faith in horse people. Fanny had made herself scarce, too, and I stumbled alone out into the daylight for resuscitation. It took walking, coffee, whiskey, and a bowl of raspberries to bring me around. I eventually found a safe haven in my own office. Sam Spade Detective Agency. Mr. Hangover speaking.
Mr. Spade, this is Gentle Joe.
What? Listen, you...
Yeah, I know how upset you must be over my little deception.
Deception?
It was all to a good purpose, Mr. Spade. You see, I had to get out of there in a hurry with the minimum of destruction.
I seem to remember you were hustled out of the racing game for doping a few 3-year-olds.
Well, that's what some people in official circles felt. But, Mr. Spade, I want to apologize to you and tell you that I will be able to explain everything to your satisfaction. No.
What's the matter?
Help! Get away!
Hello! 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 Somebody put the phone back on the hook, so I hung up and dialed a friend at the telephone exchange. She quickly traced the number. The call came from the Sunset Stables out near Bay Meadows. I dialed back, but nobody answered, so I beat it out there. It was dark, and the only person I could rouse was a young stable boy.
Yeah, what do you want?
My name's Spade. A guy named Gentle Joe was calling me from here, and something happened to him.
Gentle Joe Higgins?
That's what I said.
Oh, I haven't seen him in 2 or 3 years.
Now, look, don't give me that. He called from here. Now, where is he?
Oh, look, beat it, will you, before I scream for the cops?
All right, I'll look myself.
Oh, I say you can't. Now, no.
But I did. There were 2 phones inside the stable, both hanging on posts. The second one had the number the phone company had given me, and although someone had tried to cover it up with sawdust, on the floor, under the phone, were 3 tea bags, and somebody had done a lot of bleeding. Looked like Gentle Joe's parlay had run out.
You are listening to the weekly adventure of radio's most famous detective, Sam Spade. 3 chimes mean good times on NBC. There's music and mystery on NBC every Saturday night. For music tomorrow, your hit parade brings you the top tunes in the land as selected by you and presented by Raymond Scott's Orchestra, Snooky Lanston, and Eileen Wilson. For mystery tomorrow, Herbert Marshall stars as the man called X. In all the strange and far-off places of the world, wherever there is intrigue, danger, and romance, there you will find the man called X. Hear him tomorrow night. And now back to the Sure Thing caper, tonight's adventure with Sam Spade.
I collared the stable boy and questioned him about the blood under the phone and about what could have happened to Gentle Joe Higgins. Nothing. Just wouldn't talk, and he was too small to beat up. So I went looking for the stable manager. He lived in a small white house behind the exercise ring. He wasn't too happy at being awakened, but when I explained things, he came down to the stable with me.
I can't understand it, Mr. Spade. Gentle Joe Higgins hasn't been around here for at least 2 years.
That's what the boy told me.
You see, for doping a horse once, he can't come near a track or a stable. If we let him hang around here, the racing commission would fine us.
Well, he called from here and something happened to him. The number the phone company gave me matches up with one of your phones. There was a lot of blood on the floor, too.
Here we are. Now, which phone was it?
That one.
All right, let's look at it.
This is the phone, and here's the... Wait a minute. Come in here, you.
Let go of me, you big... Let go.
Now, tell Mr. Kemp here what was on the floor when I came in.
Nothing but sawdust.
I tell you, there was blood there.
No, honest, nothing.
Mr. Spade, this boy's been with me for 5 years. He's perfectly reliable.
Well, so am I.
Well, what do you think happened?
I think somebody used this old man for a punching bag.
Maybe you'd better go home and sleep on it, Mr. Spade. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Look, don't humor me. Make this kid talk.
Mr. Kemp, this guy's tappy.
Danny, are you certain there was no blood or no Gentle Joe?
Mr. Kemp, I'd swear on my father's grave if necessary.
You see, Mr. Spade?
I calmed down in a little while and searched the place myself. I came up with exactly nothing but an attack of hay fever and a horsey smell. And I suddenly wondered why I cared about Gentle Joe at all after what he'd done to me. So I went home and called $5 Frankie.
You say you have conversed with Gentle Joe?
Twice, and both under rather trying circumstances, Frankie. Once I was doped, and once something happened to him.
Uh-huh. I take it he did not heed the message I employed you to convey.
So far, he hasn't heeded anything.
Then he is, without a doubt, in considerable trouble.
I would say so.
It seems that my business associates, Dinosaur Torelli and Bones Moulton, have blown their tops and gone looking for Gentle Joe with something special in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Something like assassination.
I was afraid of that.
Mayhaps they have already contacted Gentle Joe for an accounting.
Certainly mayhaps. I think they've already mowed him down.
And there is nothing further for us to converse about, Sam. It is history, and it will be recorded thusly.
Well, if you say so.
And if I might tender a bit of advice, I would say, hop into the Simmons, Sammy, and knock yourself off a few hours of that ever-loving forgetfulness. And when you arise, you will have erased from your mind the names of Gentle Joe Higgins and yours truly, $5 Frankie, for some time to come.
I was tired, and it seemed smart to take his advice. So I did. I went to bed. It must have been 3 in the morning when something woke me up. It was a ghost with a big white head tiptoeing into my room. The thought was so absurd that I turned over and started back to sleep. That's when the ghost touched me, and I grabbed for him.
Wait, hey, let me go, Mr. Spade. Let me go. It's me, Gentle Joe.
Wait till I turn on a light.
Of course, I look a little different. The bandages around my head look like a turban.
What happened to you?
I was in Mr. Kemp's house when you were searching the stable.
Stupid me.
I should have come out then, but I didn't. And then I got to thinking I certainly owed you some kind of an explanation. So I found your address and came here.
All right, I'll collect the explanation. Now, first, what was the dope for?
Well, I was afraid you might take me back to $5 Frankie and his friends before I did what I had to do.
Would you care to tell me what that was?
I wanted to buy a horse.
With their money?
Yes, with their money.
They thought you were betting it on a horse, a sure thing.
I know, but let me explain. I was thrown off the tracks for doping a horse. I needed money, but that's another story. After 5 years, I could get my trainer's license back.
Tell me more.
Do you know what it is to love horse flesh and not be able to go near it for 5 years?
No, the bangtail bug never got me. You can't con guys like Frankie and his thugs out of some money to buy a horse whenever you want one.
There's more to the story. The horse I doped didn't get into the race. And the jockey had to ride another mount. He was thrown and killed.
Oh, it's too bad.
I felt that I'd murdered the man. His name was Sandy Bean.
Sandy Bean? That stable boy at Sunset Stables any relative?
His son.
Oh.
His wife and son ran out of money, and they've had a hard time of it. I've worked as a janitor for the past 5 years, trying to raise enough money to buy them a horse to help make up for what I did.
How much did you save?
Only $1,500. The horse I wanted, a 2-year-old named Sure Thing, cost $3,000.
Well, things are beginning to clear up now. How did you figure you could take money from Frankie to buy it?
Well, Frankie and his friends made a lot of money off Sandy Bean when he rode. I figured it wouldn't hurt them to pay a little of it back.
Well, I don't think they'd see it that way.
I wasn't stealing the money. I was going to give each of them a 10% of the horse. I didn't dare tell it until after I bought it.
Well, Gentle Joe, maybe they'll see the light, but I doubt it.
I was going to take 10% for training her, give the other 60 to Mrs. Bean and her son, Danny. He'll make a good jockey. And Sure Thing is a great horse. I know. They'll make a lot of money off of it.
It's a noble plan.
Tomorrow my 5 years is up, and I wanted to give them the horse then.
I see. Who roughed you up when I was talking to you on the phone?
Danny was backing a horse into the stable, and it got excited. It started kicking, and I was in the way.
I thought maybe you'd been done in.
I know. That's why I came to see you and explain things. Can you do anything to help me?
Well,
All right, everybody, just stand where you are.
There's no need to wave a gun around here.
Get up, you. Gentle Joe, we've been looking for you around and about.
Now, Dinosaur, now look...
Here all we wish to hear from you, Joe. Come along.
Look, you're not going to take him out of here without a fight.
We wouldn't mind this at all, inasmuch as we come equipped with a little artillery.
Bones, I didn't steal that money.
Shut up.
All right, knock it off.
You want some of the sand?
Yeah, if you think you can do it. And it turned out they could. I knocked Torelli's gun aside, hit him with a hard left, and he didn't go down. I tried a right, then a knee, then a couple of elbows. I was just getting ahead of the game when something hit me across the face and printed Colt 45 on my forehead. I know this sounds repetitious, but I went out again. Honest, I did. Really. I'm sorry. Appropriately, it was dawn when I woke up cold and headachy. Of course, I was alone. Gentle Joe Higgins was the victim of a successful snatch, and I had an idea what might have happened to him. I dressed and started looking all over town, but I didn't have any luck. Any. It wasn't until I was eating breakfast and met a police sergeant I know that I got a tip.
Morning, Sam.
Hello, Sergeant.
What happened to you?
I tried to kiss her.
I didn't know they made those kind of dames anymore. Mind if I sit out?
Pleasure.
Yeah, we got a homicide this morning.
Yeah? Who?
Who knows? Just an old man. Found him in the park. Somebody really worked him over.
What do you look like?
Ooh, 5'10", white hair, old clothes. Probably a bum.
Where is he, Morg?
Yeah. Kelsey's putting a rundown on him now.
Well, I'll see you later, Carter. Thanks.
Hey, Sam, haven't finished your breakfast.
They let me in the morgue, and I took a look at the corpse. And once I saw it, I knew just where I had to go. I caught a cab out to the Sunset Stables. The horses were just having their rolled oats when I pulled in, and Danny Bean, the stable boy, was there, dressed in his cleanest Levi's.
What do you want?
Where's the show going to be?
What show?
When Gentle Joe gives you the horse. Isn't this the day?
Okay, so you know. Mm-hmm. Gee, I'm sorry about last night, Mr. Spade. I had to keep it a secret.
Forget it. You did the right thing. When's the ceremony?
In about an hour, right here. You want to wait?
Sure. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Of course, I cheated a little. I didn't tell you who it was I saw in the morgue. The truth was I didn't know. It wasn't Gentle Joe Higgins, though, and so I reasoned thusly if Torelli and Moulton didn't finish him off in the night, he must have gotten out of it somehow. He was a resourceful old man, and I was sure nothing short of death would keep him from presenting Danny with a horse on the day he planned. And I was right. An hour later, he came walking in leading the prettiest chestnut mare I'd ever seen. There was a smile 2 feet wide on his face, and behind him, carrying blankets, a saddle, and riding colors, were who else? $5 Frankie, Dinosaur Torelli, and Bones Moulton.
Well, Mr. Spade, this is a surprise.
It was a pleasant one.
Yeah, this is sure thing. Oh, isn't she a beauty?
She is indeed. How'd you do it, Gentle Joe?
Well, Mr. Spade, I just invited them over to my place to have a cup of tea. You get it?
Yeah.
While we was a half out, he explained the whole thing to us.
Sound like a good deal to me. We can win both ways, on the track and at the window.
Oh, look at the life of that horse. Just waiting to cross the finish line.
Sammy boy, this is indeed a signal occasion, huh? This is the first time I have ever been this close to a horse, and me being a horse player.
Well, have you talked to her yet?
Why, sure. I am already talking to Sure Thing and explained to her our financial position.
Oh.
She has assured me she will romp home first more times than not.
Well, gentlemen, shall we do what we came here to do?
Sure, leave us make the presentation.
Come on, let's get into business.
Give the animal to the kid already, I agree.
Danny?
Yes, Mr. Higgins?
Danny, the four of us are giving you this horse, Sure Thing, in memory of your father, the late, great Sandy Bean.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
She's a beauty, isn't she?
I feel like I was just born.
Ride her well, son. Ride her well.
And I think he will. Period. End of report.
Oh, Sam. It was so beautiful.
A simple, old-fashioned type story, F. We feel we can use one now and then.
And I'm glad nothing happened to anybody. Because I just love them all.
Everything considered, F, they weren't half bad. Now, how about typing it up?
Oh, I'd love to.
Three chimes mean good times on NBC. There's music and fun in the air tomorrow evening, styled to suit your Saturday night of merriment. Dennis Day brings you songs and comedy in his charming, boyish manner, and then Judy Canova gets together with her frolicsome friends for Mountain Melody and Mayhem, followed by Grand Ole Opry with singing MC Red Foley and his gang. It's a Saturday night of fun designed for you.
All typed up.
Now, let me see now. You captured $5 Frankie's peculiar style. Perfect. And that wasn't easy.
Oh, Sam, I was just thinking.
Oh?
We ought to contribute something along with everybody else. To that horse, that Sure Thing.
I probably will, Effie. A few dollars here, a few there, whenever it's running.
Oh, I didn't mean betting.
Oh.
What I meant is, for example, it's going to need a lot of hay, isn't it?
Bales and bales.
Well, my cousin Frisbee cuts our lawn. I'll have him save the grass and send it to the stable.
Effie, you are a noble creature, but I think Sure Thing can get along without your little lawn.
Well, I've seen horses wearing stockings. Couldn't I knit a pair?
Two pair. But, F, let's not lose our heads. $5 Frankie and his pals will take good care of Sure Thing. How about worrying about taking care of me?
All right, Sam.
Yes.
Could you use some grass or some socks?
Effie, knock off this horse talk, will you? We're almost at the wire now. People are just champing at the bit for the payoff.
All right, Sam. Let's finish neck and neck, huh?
Why not? Come here, Sure Thing.
Nice, Sam.
Good night, sweetheart.
The Adventures of Sam Spade are produced, edited, and directed by William Spear. Sam Spade was played by Stephen Dunn. Lorene Tuttle is Effie. Wally Mayer was Gentle Joe. Script for tonight's adventure by John Michael Hayes. Musical scoring by Lud Gluskin, conducted by Robert Armbruster. Join us again next week, same time, for another adventure with Sam Spade. The fight against heart disease, the greatest killer in America, goes on with increased intensity. But doctors cannot wage this battle alone. They need your help for the eventual control of heart disease through research, education, and community heart programs. Give now to fight heart disease. Send your contribution to HEART, H-E-A-R-T, in care of your nearest post office. Join the magnificent Montague. Then it's Duffy's Tavern on NBC.